Chapter 3:15. Hello, Uncle Ming. Is that so? Okay. I'll be right there. It was another weekend. Wang Lan was planning to go to the medical department to farm Takashi Hoshi's poison to earn experience and skill points. Just as he walked out of the dormitory, he received a call from Mingyi. The Heavenly Sword Bureau had another difficult case and wanted Wang Lan's help. Wang Lan rode his motorcycle to the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Mingyi had just finished a case meeting. When he saw Wang Lan, he smiled awkwardly. Wang Lan, your job is to study. To be honest, I wouldn't have called you if I wasn't short on manpower. It's okay. I'm resting anyway. When I came here, I saw you guys coming and going in a hurry. Have you been busy recently? Weren't you there that day? The culprit who framed you, the source of so many space stones, etc. Any investigation would require a lot of manpower and resources. Although Shanghai Heavenly Sword Bureau has a high standard, Shanghai is only so big. Its manpower is definitely not comparable to a province. Especially this kind of work, it depends on the number of people. Mingyi complained to Wang Lan. Wang Lan could only smile awkwardly. Uncle Ming, what's the case that's making you so troubled? Recently, there have been many cases of mysterious people being killed. Mysterious people? Wang Lan looked at him in surprise. He understood that Mingyi should not have called them that. As long as they were from the Jade State, they must have an identity. As a professional intelligence agency of the Jade State, the Heavenly Sword Bureau could not even find out who they were? Was this appropriate? Mingyi raised his hand to turn on the projector on the wall and turned off the lights. On the projector, pictures appeared one after another. This is the night of November 7. At the entrance of the Red Dust Bar, 2 men were assassinated by a mysterious person when they walked out of the bar. The Heavenly Sword Bureau immediately investigated. Strangely, the 2 men who were killed did not have any information about their identities. Even if their fingerprints, appearance, and DNA were recorded into the Cloud C system, they did not match their identities. These 2 people seemed to have appeared out of thin air. There was no information about their birth, schooling, or work. A blank person? Right? Isn't there a CCTV at the entrance of the bar? The camera didn't capture the killer's face? I did, but it's useless. The scene changed to a photo of the murderer that had been taken. When Wang Lan saw the photo for the first time, he felt a little uncomfortable. F***CK Deadpool. What? Do you know him? Mingyi asked doubtfully. No, he's dressed like an anime character I've seen before. He's wearing red tights and has 2 swords on his back. But that's obviously not the case. He really doesn't have to worry about others being caught on camera. After that day, another person was killed in the alley. This time, there were no witnesses or cameras, but there was also no information about the identity of the person who was killed. Until today, December 10th, 13 people had been killed, and none of them had any information about their identities. This might be the reason why the murderer killed them. Could they be from a secret organization? And then someone went after the members of the organization? That's not right. If it was a secret organization, they would also need to cover their identities on the surface. Without any information about their identities, it means that someone has been hiding them since they were born. Or someone can tamper with the Sea of Clouds system. I'll need you to investigate this. I'll arrange 4 capable team members for you. As he spoke, he picked up the phone. Ask the members of Independent Group S to come to my office. Soon, 4 young men and women knocked on Mingyi's office. 2 men and 2 women, very balanced. All 4 of them were wearing military uniforms and looked very energetic. The military uniform of the Heavenly Sword Bureau was the most handsome of all the military uniforms that Wang Lan had ever seen. It was not like the military uniforms of the military, which had a top and pants with a belt in the middle. The jacket of the men's military uniform was mainly a long windbreaker, with short sleeves for summer, long sleeves for autumn, and an inner jacket for winter. The women's jacket was short with shorts or a short skirt, and the winter jacket was a long coat. Therefore, even if one's looks were average, this military uniform would automatically add 30 points to one's look. Moreover, the 4 people in front of him were all good-looking. Of the 2 men, one was masculine and the other handsome. Although the 2 women's looks and temperaments were very different, they were still worthy of being called beauties. On the other hand, Wang Lan's ordinary casual clothes seemed a little low in front of the 4 of them. Let me introduce you. This is Comrade Wang Lan, who is subordinate to our operations division. This is the temporary captain of Independent Group S, Yang Yang, and this is Lui Feng. The tall female comrade is Zhang Xiao, and the long-haired female comrade is Bai Su. Bai Su is a perception-type Takashi Hoshi, and her perception is extraordinary. Zhang Zhao's talent is air manipulation. Lui Feng is a wind-type Takashi Hoshi, and has mastered 2 types of A-class Takashi Hoshi technique. Yang Yang is a metal-type Takashi Hoshi, and his close combat skills are top-notch. They have just completed their training as an independent group and have not had the time to be put to use. Wang Lan, what do you think of them being your temporary team members? It's very balanced and they complement each other very well. It's just that I'm only a major. Wang Lan smiled bitterly. Of the 4 people in front of him, 1 was a lieutenant colonel and 3 were majors. In terms of seniority and military rank, Wang Lan was the younger one. What's the problem? The Heavenly Sword Bureau only looks at ability, not military rank or seniority. Besides, with your achievements, if you had not joined the Heavenly Sword Bureau for such a short time, you could have been promoted to general. Listen up, you 4. From now on, Wang Lan is your temporary captain. Don't be fooled by Wang Lan's young age. He has killed at least 5 high-level demons spy teams. He has killed 6 or 7 high-level demons spies with his own hand. From now on, the 4 of you must fully obey Wang Lan's orders and assist Wang Lan in investigating the mysterious man's murder. Yes, sir. Well, you can leave now. The 4 of them saluted and left. As they walked out of the office, the 4 of them kept exchanging glances. They had been training together for half a year and were very familiar with each other. They could see some suspicion in each other's eyes. The 4 of them were selected from 30 elite trainees. Which one of them was not talented and had a bright future? The independent team was a special team of Shanghai Heavenly Sword Bureau. Although there were only 4 people in the team, they carried out the highest level missions of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. There were only 7 independent teams in the entire Shanghai Heavenly Sword Bureau, and their independent team was names. This meant that the Heavenly Sword Bureau expected them to be a super team. The first leader of the super team was a teenager who looked like he was only 17 or 18 years old. Even if this teenager was already a major, he did not seem reliable. Old Yang, the case we are investigating seems to be a technical one. It has nothing to do with strength, right? Lui Feng asked softly outside the office, leaning against a stone pillar. Just say it. Don't beat around the bush. He's a major at such a young age. He's definitely a genius. He's at least at the peak of nebula or the early stage of galaxy. But he's still young and doesn't have much experience. Didn't they say that 4 or 5 demon spy group fell into Captain Wang's hands? Bai Su asked softly. You really believe that? This kind of genius has a family background and resources that we can only envy. I don't find it strange to follow him to get some credit and then pin it on him, Zhang Xiao said with some disdain as he crossed his arms. You guys keep those words to yourself. Think about it. A major before the age of 20 in the entire military. No, in the entire Department of National Defense. How many are there? Such a person, no matter how good his family background is or how high his status is, he must have some skills under him. In the Heavenly Sword Bureau, the system is different from other places. No matter how high his rank is in other places, it will all be reset and upgraded here. In other words, Captain Wang's major rank was promoted in the bureau. But I've never heard of him before. He might have come out of nowhere. No matter what, in terms of rank, we are higher. In terms of position, he is the captain. Even if it's temporary, I don't want to hear any different opinions while he is leading. Not even behind his back. We are soldiers. We can only obey, obey, and obey again. What if his orders are obviously wrong? We can appeal to the public after the fact, but his orders must be carried out unconditionally. This is basic knowledge. Do you need me to teach you? Obviously, Yang had absolute prestige in the four-man team. So when he spoke, Louis Feng and Zhang Xiao shut up. Why are you guys here? Captain. Captain, from this moment on, we are your team members. We can't disband without your orders. Is that so? Okay, you guys go back and change into casual clothes. Gather at the door in 20 minutes. By the way, do you all have cars? Every independent operation team is equipped with 2 cars to facilitate our mission. Is that so? Then take me to the car first. I came here on a donkey. It's inconvenient to move without a car. In the open-air parking lot, a domineering off-road vehicle and a low-key business car were parked in the S parking lot. The cars were brand new. Wang looked at the schedule and saw that they had less than 200 kilometers. Wang Lan patted the off-road vehicle and was very satisfied. This was the kind of car a man should drive. You guys go change into casual clothes first. I'll wait for you here. Sitting in the car, Wang Lan took out his phone and looked at the details of the case. In his mind, there were 2 notifications that showed that 2 missions were in progress. One was Senior Ma Chuchu's revenge mission. The first mission that Sibu Gakuen accepted in Shanghai had not been completed yet. The other was the mission that he had just accepted. It was to investigate the mystery of the murder of this group of mysterious people and find the murderer. The Heavenly Sword Bureau's original plan was to trace the identity of these people, hoping to obtain the cause of their death and the reason why the murderer killed them. However, due to the frequent incidents in Shanghai, the progress of the investigation was intermittent. It had been more than 20 days and there was no progress. However, the murderer did not stop killing. More than a dozen people died just like that. Soon, the 4 of them came to Wang Lan's side again. After changing out of their military uniforms, the 4 of them did not look as serious as before. Instead, they looked more youthful and energetic. This was more like it. It was not an important occasion to meet important people. Why did they have to dress so formally? They were a group of people in their early 20s or 30s, but they had to dress like they were in their 40s. Captain, get in the car. Captain, let me drive. I have an A-class military license. Huh. You don't trust my driving skills? Comrade Old Yang, prejudice and arrogance are not good. I'm not bragging about my driving skills, but your distrust is completely correct. Pfft. Bai Su suddenly choked and coughed violently. I'm just livening up the atmosphere. Do you have to go so far? However, other than Bai Su, the other 3 were expressionless and emotionless. Captain, where should we investigate first? Phoenix Square. Phoenix Square? I don't remember there being a crime scene there. It's almost 12. Aren't you hungry? We'll investigate after dinner. Chapter 3:16. It was necessary to build a good relationship with the team members for the first time. Even if it was just a temporary team, they still had to eat under the same system in the future. Even for Wang Lan, it was fine for her to investigate on her own, but this was society. Wang Lan chose a barbecue restaurant. This barbecue restaurant's main style was the original taste, no extra seasoning, allowing customers to eat the original taste of the meat. It had been open for less than half a year, but its reputation was good. Out of the 4 of them, 10 of them were ordered. They chatted casually during the meal, and the 5 people officially began to get familiar with each other. The 4 people's impression of Wang Lan changed very quickly. They originally thought that Wang Lan must have an extraordinary background since he was promoted to major at such a young age. Most of these people with extraordinary backgrounds had a common problem. It was arrogance. Even if they pretended to be very approachable on the surface, they would occasionally show an arrogant expression and words. However, they didn't see this in Wang Lan. Wang Lan gave the two men the impression that he was easy to get along with and his tone wasn't aggressive at all. The two girls felt warm. After all, girls were more sensitive in this aspect. After the meal, Wang Lan began to check out each crime scene. Yang Yang had been in touch with this case before, but he didn't know much. Referring to the information, he barely managed to restore the scene. The manager of the bar also said that the two people were here for the first time, so they seemed very restrained. They just sat at the bar and watched silently. They didn't strike up a conversation with the girls. "Is he so sure that these two are here for the first time?" Wang Lan asked. "This bar is a quiet bar. The people who come here to drink are all elite. The whole bar's environment is relatively quiet, and they come here to relax. Usually, those who come to have fun go to those *SSY bars. There's a dance floor and big white legs. Therefore, most of the people who come to the bar are acquaintances. Even if the manager doesn't know them, he recognizes their faces. Those two are very restrained. The manager said that there's a high chance that they rarely or never come to such an occasion. The identity of the victim is unknown. The identity of the murderer is unknown. The motive of the murder is unknown. There's no way to start this case. Let's go to the next place." In one afternoon, they went to 5 places. All of them were the same as the first place. There was no information. There was no ID card, no cell phone, and no clues that could be used to trace his identity. No wonder the brothers in the intelligence department have such a headache. It's like a hedgehog that's curled into a ball. There's no place to strike. "Bai Su, what did you say?" Wang Lan suddenly raised his head and asked. "No place to strike?" "No, what does it look like?" "A hedgehog curled into a ball." "Turn into a ball." Wang Lan quickly took out his phone and opened the map. "If we change our direction, this is the Qinghai district. All the places where the cases happened are concentrated within the Eastwood town area. Don't you feel strange? Why did this group of people with no identities appear? We have perfect auxiliary equipment and can use all the resources in Shanghai to investigate their identities. Even so, we can't find out who they are. How did the murderer find them so accurately? One had to know that it was too easy for someone without any identity to hide. It would be too easy to leave. As long as they hid in a certain place, the murderer would not be able to track them, unless the murderer kept watching them. However, there is only one murderer. It is impossible for him to target many people at the same time. Maybe there's more than one murderer? If there's more than one murderer, there's no need for the murderer to kill them one by one. To keep an eye on them, he would need at least double the number of people. The murderer could kill several people at the same time. Could it be that there's someone secretly watching them and there's only one murderer? Classmate Xiao AI. I'm here. This guy even knows how to hide his intelligence? This formulaic answer was very similar to the most ordinary AI intelligence. Go through all the surveillance cameras at the crime scene and find out who was watching the victim or following the victim to the crime scene before the crime happened. Okay. Captain, is this your internet genie? Yes, I was very interested in intelligent robots when I was in high school, so I wrote an intelligent code to help me deal with some tedious operations. It's pretty good. It's not worse than the artificial intelligence on the market. Louis Feng gave a fair evaluation. Xiao AI deliberately hid this. If he went all out, everything in the world except for ice and snow would be his little brother. Just analyzing the video data collected by the Heavenly Sword Bureau? That's impossible. Xiao AI definitely hacked into all the surveillance systems in the entire area to analyze and investigate. While Xiao AI was monitoring all the surveillance systems, Wang Lan had already circled the area where the victims were killed on the map. On the map, there was an arc-shaped trajectory. "Captain, do you think there's a pattern to this trajectory?" Bai Su looked at the trajectory map that Wang Lan had finished marking and asked. "I'm trying my luck now. Although it's said that solving a case can't rely on luck, in a situation where there are no clues at all, I can only try my luck." Beep, beep, beep. "Wang Lan, the large data search has been completed. There's no person that fits the criteria you listed. Do you want to update the search criteria?" The last sentence was pure bullsh *t. With Xiao AI's intelligence level, it was impossible that he didn't know what Wang Lan was looking for. He had definitely searched through all the possibilities. Since there was no one, there was really no one. Ring, suddenly Wang Lan's phone rang. "Hello, Captain? What? I'll be right there." Wang Lan hung up the phone, and his face instantly darkened. "There's another murder at the east gate of Dongming Hospital. 2 people were killed on the street by a masked killer in red. We'll be there immediately." With a roar, he turned into a ferocious beast and charged into the street. When they arrived at the scene, the superintendent's guards were already there to maintain order. There was also a group of civilians outside the cordon to watch the show. Wang Lan and the others had to show their IDs before they were allowed to enter. "Captain Liu, the people from the Heavenly Sword Bureau are here," a police officer whispered to a police officer. Detective Liu hurriedly stood up and walked over to Wang Lan and the others. "You guys came pretty quickly. It's the same as the previous few times. There were many witnesses, but the murderer was masked and no one knew where he came from. So, even if there were witnesses and cameras, he didn't hold back. These 2 people happened to walk to the entrance of the hospital, when a man in a tight red suit suddenly appeared and killed one of them with 2 weapons. The other seemed to be about to use Takashi Hoshi, but was beheaded before he could." "Captain Liu, is there still no identification information?" Wang Lan asked in a low voice. "No, there's no such person according to the facial recognition system. Our facial recognition system is connected to the cloud center and can analyze 1 million people per second. They don't have phones, IDs, money, or anything to prove their identities." Wang Lan scanned the scene. It was brutal and bloody. The first-person detective Liu mentioned was beheaded at the waist. His lower body was separated from his upper body by at least 2 meters, and his intestines and organs spilled all over the ground. The second person was decapitated, and his blood spilled like an ink painting. "Have you traced them in the opposite direction?" "We can only trace a 1-kilometer route. They seem to have deliberately avoided the surveillance of the cameras, so we can't trace them any further." "Are these fellows stupid or what? They know that someone is hunting them, so why are they still running around?" Yang Yang spat. "Even if they're stubborn, they should at least leave us some clues." Wang Lan couldn't do anything when the identities of the victims and the murderers were a mystery. There was no such person in the entire Jade State. Where could they find his identity, his connections, and the next target of the murderers? Ring, ring, Detective Liu's phone suddenly rang. "Hello? What? Where are you?" "Okay. Major Wang, 3 kilometers to the east. Someone reported that the murderers are hunting 5 Takashi Hoshi again. Let's go." As soon as Wang Lan finished speaking, she soared into the sky. Liu Yifeng saw Wang Lan fly into the sky and disappear in the blink of an eye, so he quickly jumped into the sky as well. Both of them had Takashi Hoshi flying skills, so a distance of 3 kilometers wasn't far, but it wasn't close either. It would take at least 3 to 5 minutes to fly that distance. Looking down from above, they quickly found the source of the commotion. In the alley under their feet, there was a crowd of onlookers. Wang Lan still couldn't understand why these people liked to watch the commotion so much. Moreover, they never cared about whether they should watch the commotion or whether it was dangerous. How dare they watch the killing of Takashi Hoshi? They dared to kill in a big city, so they didn't care about accidentally killing a few civilians, right? Wang Lan landed. Everyone, go back to your homes. Don't come near. By the time the police were called, it was probably already over. When Wang Lan arrived, there was nothing left except for the scene of a massacre. There were 6 corpses in the alley, all of them fresh from the oven. Only the blood sprayed on the wall was still warm. Wang Lan walked over the blood and carefully observed the corpses. They had all been killed by knives and swords, so it was obvious that the murderer was an expert with knives and swords. From the surveillance video that Detective Liu had seen, it could also be seen that the murderer was not only skilled with knives and was as fast as lightning, but also had a talent for invisibility. Because the first person who had been cut in half didn't even realize it until he died. Of the 5 people in front of him, except for the one who was the furthest away who didn't react, the rest were all running or twisting. But even if they had realized that death was coming, they were killed without being able to resist. Yifeng, go and ask around if there are any witnesses. Ask them about the situation. Yes. 6 corpses. 1 was cut in half at the waist, 2 were decapitated, 1 had his heart, 1 had his throat, and 1 had his head cut in half. Although the scene was a disgusting mess, Wang Lan still endured the nausea and observed carefully. The cuts were neat, especially the one that had been cut in the head. Either the murderer was an expert with the wind attribute, or the other party's knife was very sharp. Among the 6 people, 5 of them were wearing the same clothes as the people who had been killed earlier. Only one young man didn't look like he was cut off from the world. Wang Lan tried to look for his belongings. Suddenly, he was pleasantly surprised. There really was a phone in the man's arms. As long as there was a phone, it meant that his identity could be traced. Chapter 317. Captain! Captain! Yang Yang and the other 2 rushed over. You guys came at the right time. Find out who this phone belongs to. Captain, I'm back. Liu Yifeng ran back, sweating profusely. I asked 10 witnesses. They all came out after hearing the loud noise. When they saw a masked man in a red tights holding 2 knives and slashing at the 6 people. The 2 knives were very sharp and very fast. They said that the 6 people were all dead in less than 5 seconds. Then the masked man went into the wall and disappeared. Went into the wall? Earth elemental magic? Captain, we found the identity. His name is Duanmu Jing. He's a branch of the Duanmu family. He just graduated last year. The Duanmu family? Is the murderer targeting the Duanmu family? There were no useful clues left at the scene. The only clue should be Duanmu Jing's phone. The sky gradually darkened. Wang Lan and the 4-man team went to the superintendent's office. Using the superintendent's resources to solve cases was the Heavenly Sword Bureau's usual routine. After sorting out the clues, they could confirm that the murderer had a clear motive for killing people. Every time he attacked, he killed the same kind of people. No identity, no experience, and they were all between 25 and 35 years old. It was hard to imagine how a person could hide their identity from birth until now. This could happen in remote mountain villages. Some people didn't apply for an ID in their entire lives, but in big cities, it was almost impossible to move around without an ID. Which one didn't need an ID for basic necessities? The only thing they gained this time was a phone. They found the phone number of one of the victims. After sorting out the clues, Wang Lan's temporary office was knocked on. Major Wang, the Duanmu family is here. Okay, tell them to wait a moment. Wang Lan sorted out the information in front of him and walked out of the room with the 4 people. Speaking of which, the 4 people's cheeks were a little hot at this moment. Because from the moment they received the case until now, the 4 of them had been accompanying him the whole time. They didn't have any constructive suggestions or major discoveries. When Wang Lan asked for their opinions, they were at their wits' end. After all, the identity of the deceased was unknown, and the identity of the murderer was unknown. For someone like the deceased, who had no identity, it was even more unknown. Even Duanmu Jing, who was the only one who knew his identity, might not be able to make any connections. Currently, there was no evidence to prove that Duanmu Jing was related to the victims. There was an elderly couple in the interrogation room. Although the two of them were close to 60 years old, they maintained themselves very well. Although their expressions were heavy and their faces were pale. "Who is Duanmu Jing to you?" "He's my son." The old lady hurriedly replied, "Officer, my son, he was really killed by a murderer? He was fine yesterday. Do you know why he appeared in the alley of Hojo village?" "I don't know. Today, he said that he was going to look for a friend. He left for less than half a day. I didn't expect." As she spoke, she covered her face and sobbed. "Officer, is my son dead or not? Why were they killed?" The middle-aged man asked gloomily. "You are Duanmu Jing's father?" "Yes." "Name?" "Duanmu Qi." "Age?" 60. "Occupation?" "Takashi Hoshi, late nebula stage. He is now the leader of a small team in the Duanmu reclamation team. He went home to rest last month because he had a break." "Do you know these people?" Wang Lan placed the restored photos in front of Duanmu Qi. Duanmu Qi took them and looked at them one by one. After a long time, he shook his head. "I don't know them. Who are they? My son's murderer?" "No, they are the people who were killed together with your son. None of them have any identity information. They are not missing persons or fake identities. They have no identity since birth. They are mysterious people who have no information about them. We suspect that they are from the same organization, and Duanmu Jing is with them." "Impossible," Duanmu Qi said firmly. "If my son had any organization, it would be the Duanmu family. Although my family is a branch of the Duanmu family, we don't have to worry about food and clothing in the family. It is impossible for us to betray the family and get involved with some groundless organization. Moreover, my son is not like me. He graduated from Cebu Gakuen in Gold City. He is already at the mid-stage of the galaxy realm, so the family values him very much. It is only a matter of time before he breaks through to the Star Sea realm. The family will not mistreat him. There is no need for him to join any organization." Galaxy realm? Wang Lan's pupils shrank. A galaxy realm cultivator was killed before he could even resist? "Officer, my son is a good kid. He is very warm-hearted, and the people around him agree with him very much. Maybe he heard the commotion and rushed over to take a look, but he did not want to be implicated. You have to catch the murderer as soon as possible and give my son justice," the old woman said, sobbing. Wang Lan patiently recorded the statements of the two old people and did not stop until 8 or 9 o'clock. The superintendent ordered takeout for Wang Lan and the other four. He knew that they were Takashi Hoshi and had a big appetite, so he ordered 3 servings for each of them. It seemed that the misunderstanding that Takashi Hoshi were all foodies would not be resolved in a short time. The reason why Takashi Hoshi had a big appetite was because they had to absorb the star power in their cells, which led to severe malnutrition. However, Wang Lan and the others never lacked soul orbs, so their appetite was maintained at a normal level. Of course, it was not a problem for the 5 of them to eat 10 servings, let alone 3 servings. Anyway, Takashi Hoshi did not have to worry about their bodies going out of shape. If they became fat one day, they could absorb some energy from their cells and slim down in 3 days. It seems that Duanmu Jing really has nothing to do with those people, and was killed by the murderer. There is nothing suspicious about Duanmu Jing's movements. He did set off alone this afternoon. He even went to the mall for a stroll and drank coffee. He went to the ancient street at dusk and was killed in the back alley. He did not hide his whereabouts at all, nor did he deliberately avoid surveillance. Late at night, Wang Lan's team concluded after studying the clues. "It's not easy to find a clue, but it's still useless. Damn it, what kind of people are these? In my opinion, if they have a grudge, let them solve it themselves. Anyway, unregistered people are not citizens of Jade State. Let's just treat it as a dogfight and let them die. Zhang Xiao, don't be angry. Even if they don't have a household register, we have to take responsibility for the violence that happened in Jade State, Yang Yang said in a low voice. Okay, it's late. Go back and rest. We'll continue the investigation tomorrow. The superintendent has arranged a dormitory for you. If you need anything, just tell the superintendent. All expenses will be reimbursed. Captain, you're awesome. Captain, we're going to rest. You should rest early too. Although you're still young, you can't make it a habit to stay up late. Okay, I'm going to rest too. Lying in bed, Wang Lan couldn't fall asleep. Duanmu Jing and those mysterious people kept flashing through his mind. As for the friends that Duanmu Jing had found, Duanmu Jing's parents didn't know. They could only guess that they were partners that Duanmu Jing had met during a mission. But Wang Lan couldn't find any Takashi Hoshi in the vicinity of the old street. As for the murderer and the victims, they were like a cloud of fog that made people unable to figure out. Even if the murderer's identity was unknown, so many victims seemed to have appeared out of thin air. What kind of organization was this? Even if they were demon spies, they still knew how to disguise themselves. If these people weren't really human, Wang Lan would think that they were demons that had invaded the human world. As the saying goes, what one thinks in the day, one dreams at night. But Wang Lan's dream was bizarre. He dreamt that he had become an emperor, then a spy, and then an assassin. Anyway, it didn't make any sense. By the time Wang Lan woke up, he couldn't remember what he had dreamed of. Anyway, it was an ancient setting, filled with intrigue, hatred, and killing. The only thing that made Wang Lan a little clearer was the death soldiers. He had been seriously injured by the assassination, but his subordinates couldn't find out anything about the death soldiers. The death soldiers were orphans and beggars that had been found since childhood. After more than 10 years of training, even they didn't know who they were. He stood up and got dressed. Suddenly Wang Lan paused. Death soldiers? Death soldiers. This keyword was like a key that opened up Wang Lan's tangled knot. What if this group of people were death soldiers? What kind of people's death soldiers would they be? Death soldiers were raised from childhood and had no identity. Only big families would raise death soldiers. Wang Lan instantly returned to the table and reopened the information on the table. He overturned all his previous speculations and replaced these people with death soldiers. Death soldiers must be on a mission that couldn't be exposed. How could the murderer accurately find this group of people who had no identity? No, from another perspective, what if these people delivered themselves to the murderer's door? Death soldiers were usually raised in secret places and wouldn't be released. There was only one reason why they were released: to carry out a mission. If they were death soldiers of the Duanmu family, then it would be normal for Duanmu Jing to be with them. Moreover, Duanmu Jing's parents' explanation seemed reasonable, but there was a loophole. From the witnesses' testimonies, the murderer didn't spend much time killing them. About 5 seconds. Even if it had been less than 10 seconds since the first sound was heard. In less than 10 seconds, Duanmu Jing, this warm-hearted young man, happened to arrive, and unfortunately, he was killed? Moreover, judging from the distribution of the bodies, Duanmu Jing wasn't at the end, but in the middle. This formation looked more like he was being protected in the middle. If this speculation was true, why would the Duanmu family send death soldiers here? Why couldn't the Duanmu family appear openly and had to send death soldiers? Wang Lan looked at the map again. The distribution of the bodies formed an arc. All the victims were between 25 and 35 years old, and none of them had an identity. The Duanmu family must be up to something, but what exactly is it? Wang Lan tapped his fingers on the table. After about 10 minutes, Wang Lan's fingers suddenly stopped. He quickly took out his phone and entered the Heavenly Sword Bureau's Intelligence Department's system. I guessed right. Chapter 3:18. After coming out of the 9-story pagoda, Wang Lan told the Heavenly Sword Bureau about the relationship between Xiao Qing and Bai Ji. The Heavenly Sword Bureau did not hesitate and immediately started investigating. Soon, they found a property under Bai Ji's name. It was located in a middle-class residential area in Eastwood Town. The Heavenly Sword Bureau immediately went in to search. They turned Bai Ji's room upside down but did not find anything. Last week, Wang Lan received a reply from the Heavenly Sword Bureau saying that this lead should be broken. But now, the place where the incident happened was in Eastwood Town. This was a coincidence. Wang Lan washed up and walked out of the room. The 4 team members had been training on the field for a while. Wang Lan knew that Takashi Hoshi's daily training was very regular in order to maintain their best condition. Just like Jiang Xinyu, since she was 9 years old, she would practice every morning and night. After 10 years of perseverance, Wang Lan was the one who was not enthusiastic about training. He thought about training, but he did not think that he would not move at all. After coming out of the 9-story pagoda, Wang Lan did not move at all. Looks like I'm not working hard at all. Captain, do you usually wake up so late? It's already 8:30. Bai Su was the most unrestrained in front of Wang Lan, so she opened her mouth. Yeah, we woke up at 4:30. We've been training for more than 3 hours. You slept so late last night and woke up so early? Lack of sleep will affect the efficiency of the case. Forget it, let's go and have breakfast first. Wang Lan drove away with the 4 people and arrived at the entrance of a tea house. Because it was Sunday, the tea house was full of cars. After driving around, they could not find a parking space. Captain, just park the car here. We can't find a parking space even if we drive around for an hour. How about this, I'll go down to Bai, you guys stay in the car. If someone is in the car, we won't get a ticket. You make it sound like the traffic police will put a ticket on a car with the license plate of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Zhang Zhao's words made Lu Yifeng choke for a long time. In the end, it was Wang Lan who got out of the car to order. Then, he returned to the car with a big bag of buns and youtiao. The steamed buns were crab roe buns, the steamed dumplings were beef and glutinous rice steamed dumplings, and the fried dough sticks were cheese fried dough sticks. The breakfast for the 5 of them cost Wang Lan nearly 600 yuan. Even if the team members were all elites of the Heavenly Sword Bureau, they still couldn't afford to eat so extravagantly. Captain, 1 crab roe soup dumpling costs 48 renminbi. You bought 5 at once? Honestly speaking, are you a super rich person? Why isn't there even a single car? Bai Su's eyes flashed with lightning as she asked in a coquettish tone. Why do you ask? Also, your reaction is a little off. Zhang Xiao, I'll change seats with you. I'll sit in the front passenger seat. Don't be afraid. I won't eat you. Captain, do you have a girlfriend? Can you consider me? I'm only 18. Can you bear to do it? Yifeng, protect me. Amidst the commotion, the 5 of them finished their breakfast in the car. Shanghai's crab roe soup dumplings were indeed worthy of their reputation. Captain, where are we going now? Jinghua Mansion. Why are we going to Jinghua Mansion? To investigate the case. I suspect that the people who were killed were men of sacrifice, and their deaths were related to Jinghua Mansion. Although the 4 of them didn't know how Wang Lan found new clues overnight, they didn't ask much. Yang drove into Jinghua Mansion's residential area. Under Wang Lan's instructions, they stopped at the parking lot in front of the 15th building. This place. I think I've been here before. Last week, I came here with the intelligence department to search. Zhang Xiao looked at the residential building and touched his chin. Did you find anything during your last search? No, the room was very clean. It was a single woman's residence. There were only women's items. There was nothing special. Let's go, we'll search again. Wang Lan led the 4 of them in. It wasn't that Wang Lan didn't trust his brother's search, nor did he hope to find any evidence in Bai Ji's house. Instead, Wang Lan suspected that the men of sacrifice were targeted and killed because they went to Bai Ji's house. If they were really men of sacrifice from the Duanmu family, and if they came to Donglin district because of Shao Qing, the only possibility was to search Bai Ji's house. Because they couldn't let people know that it was the Duanmu family who did it, they could only send men of sacrifice. Then, would the men of sacrifice leave behind any clues when they were searching? Now that there were few clues, Wang Lan couldn't let go of any possible opportunity. When they opened the door, they saw a mess. Lu Yifeng turned to look at Zhang Xiao. Was it like this after your last search? It shouldn't be. Our brothers from the Heavenly Sword Bureau are all people of integrity. Why is it like a robbery? No, we didn't search it last time. Even if it was, it would all be in place. How could it be like this? Not only are things in a mess, but even the walls, ceiling, and floor are all smashed. Looks like I guessed right. Wang Lan smiled. Those dead people without identities were indeed men of sacrifice. They came here and dug 3 feet into the ground. Not bad. Captain, you found a new clue? How did you find it? Bai Su asked with admiration. If she was just joking in the car before, now Bai Su really admired this captain who was a few years younger than her. It can't be considered a clue. It's just a new hypothesis. As for how I came up with it, I had a dream last night. Of course, a hypothesis is just a hypothesis. All hypotheses are just empty talk. Only when you find evidence to prove the hypothesis will be valid. Now it seems that although there is no evidence for the hypothesis, the possibility of it being valid has increased. Everyone, look carefully and see if you can find any evidence. The 5 of them split up. Bai Ji's house wasn't big. It was only 120 square meters. There was a living room, a master bedroom, a second bedroom, 2 bathrooms, 1 bathroom, and an independent study. Because it was completely destroyed, it was impossible to see its original appearance. Don't look down on it because it was an ordinary neighborhood in Shanghai. Don't look down on it because it was just a 120 square meter house. The average house price in Shanghai was 80,000 yuan. This house was worth more than 10 million yuan. Captain, I don't think there's a need to search anymore. The whole house has been dug up. Everything should have been dug up by now. I've seen people eating fish, chickens, and crabs in an artistic way, but I've never seen someone digging 3 feet into the ground to search a house so thoroughly. Not only did they dig up the decoration layer, but they even dug up the circuit layer below. That's awesome. Just as the 5 of them split up to search inch by inch, Wang Lan suddenly felt a ray of light sweep past his eyes. In an instant, Wang Lan came to the balcony. Astral power surged. Farsight, activate. The distance between Jinghua Mansion was not big. It was only about 30 meters. Therefore, many of the lower floors had very little sunlight every day. However, the location of Bai Ji's house was outstanding. It was only 10 days in the morning, but the sun was already shining on the balcony. Wang Lan used his farsight and saw a telescope on the top floor 200 meters away from Bai Ji house. Wang Lan saw it. Behind the telescope was an old man who looked like a savage. The old man seemed to have noticed something. He suddenly put away the telescope and shrank back into the room. Captain, why are you standing on the balcony? I've searched, but there's nothing. I didn't find anything on my side either. Nothing. I did find something on my side. Wang Lan smiled faintly. How's your strength? The murderer is a powerhouse who can kill even a galaxy state in an instant. If you don't do it well, you'll be killed. Early stage of galaxy. Peak of galaxy. Peak of galaxy. Middle stage of galaxy. Bai Ji's face turned red when she said that. Among the 4 of them, she seemed to be the most embarrassed. Don't look at me. I'm only 21 years old. Under Wang Lan's gaze, Bai Su blurted out anxiously. She even forgot that age was a woman's biggest secret. Takashi Hoshi's strength would erupt between the ages of 18 and 30. Whatever height they could reach, they would basically reach it during this period. Even some geniuses would spend 10 years before the age of 18 to go from star to nebula. During the eruption period, not only would their cultivation not slow down, but it would also speed up. From nebula to galaxy state, it might take a few years. Moreover, during university, many Takashi Hoshi's cultivation would explode under the school's resources. Reaching the galaxy state at the age of 24 or 25 was nothing. If you couldn't break through to the galaxy state at the age of 24 or 25, then the possibility of breaking through to the star sea realm in this lifetime was not high. Wang Lan knew that Yang Yang was 28 years old this year and was at the early stage of galaxy state. However, there was not much time left for him to grow. At this rate, the possibility of him becoming a titled powerhouse was not high. Bai Su was 21 years old this year and was at the middle stage of galaxy state. She still had 9 years of explosive growth. In terms of potential, she might be the one who could go the furthest. It was a fair evaluation. Even if these 4 team members were placed in the Shanghai Star Martial Arts Academy, where geniuses were everywhere and monsters were as numerous as dogs, they would definitely be the top group of people, as expected of an independent team of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Moreover, it was an independent team names. The quality was really high. With an early stage Star Sea Realm as a foundation, Wang Lan knew what to expect. Wang Lan's normal strength was at the late stage of galaxy state. In his phoenix form, he could fight against a Star Sea Realm cultivator. 2 Star Sea Realm cultivators against 1. Wang Lan did not believe that the other party would be a titled powerhouse. Come with me, Yang Yang. You have to pay attention to the 3 of them at all times. The murderer is at least at the Star Sea Realm. If it's not necessary, let me deal with him. Captain, can you do it? For the first time, Yang Yang had a trace of doubt about Wang Lan. After all, who would believe an 18-year-old Star Sea Realm cultivator? In the 70 years after the war, the number of outstanding geniuses who had emerged in the Jade State was at least 800, if not 1,000. However, none of them could break through to the Star Sea Realm at the age of 18. They had to be at least 20 years old, right? Even Yu Ruoyun, who was known as an eternal genius, was at the peak of galaxy state and was 19 years old this year. If she could break through to the Star Sea Realm this year, she might be the first person to break the age of 20. Could Wang Lan be at the Star Sea Realm? Yes, although I shouldn't ask this, Captain. Can you do it? Student Bai Su, there are some things that Yang Yang and I can say, but you can't say, Lui Feng said with an enigmatic face. Chapter 319. Pring dash, the door was kicked open, star power surged. Wang Lan instantly locked onto a sloppy person in the living room. No, don't hit me. The sloppy beggar knelt down as if it was a conditioned reflex, hugging his head and curling up his body. This scene made the world extremely quiet. Zhang Xiao and Bai Su stared back and forth between Wang Lan and the man in front of them in a daze. This is the murderer you mentioned? At least a Star Sea Realm master? Wang Lan frowned and glanced around the man's house. Although it was in the same community as Bai Ji, his house was still an unfinished house. The light on the roof was just the most common screw bulb. Other than the entrance door, there were no doors installed in the other rooms. The room was filled with all kinds of garbage, and some scraps from who knows where. After waiting for a long time and not seeing Wang Lan and the others move, the middle-aged man raised his head blankly. One of his eyes was obviously blind, flashing a strange cold light. Who are you? Come to my house, what are you doing? Wang Lan did not answer, but turned to the balcony and saw the telescope on the balcony that was put away. It was a very old observation telescope. Were you peeping at us with the telescope just now? Ah. The sloppy middle-aged man raised his head blankly. No, I was just looking. When he spoke, the sloppy man's smile was a little wretched and a little scared. Captain, there is no star power fluctuation on him, are you mistaken? Bai Su quietly came to Wang Lan and asked. Not necessarily. Do you think that there is no perceptive Takeshi Hoshi among those men of sacrifice? He can still kill people without anyone noticing, indicating that perception does not work on the murderer. But he doesn't look like a Takeshi Hoshi to me. Although the house he lives in is just an unfinished house, it is still a 2-bedroom house in Shanghai. It is worth at least 7 million, don't be fooled by his appearance. Maybe he rented it? Which landlord do you think would be willing to rent a house to him? Wang Lan asked with a sneer. Little brother, I bought this house 7 years ago when I won the lottery. I was lucky that time and won $5 million in the lottery to buy this house. All the money went into this house. 5 million? Now that the house price has risen to 7 or 8 million, why don't you sell it? If you sell the house, you'll be a millionaire immediately. Where will I live after I sell my house? I may be poor, but I'm not stupid. I know that the house holds its value, so I won't make a loss no matter when I sell it. When I first won 5 million yuan, there were also many women who wanted to throw themselves at me. But I also knew that they were after my 5 million. If I really fell for it, the 5 million would be gone in a few years. I'm an old bachelor with no children. In the future, when I'm old and sell my house, I'll go to a nursing home. You're not stupid. Where did these things come from? I picked it up from the garbage dump. I work as a classifier at the garbage disposal site in the south. Really? How much is your monthly salary? 2,000. Food and lodging are not included. After a series of questions and answers, Old Man Wei's information was quickly gathered. Yang Yang also quickly checked through the Heavenly Sword Bureau's intelligence network, and it was exactly as Old Man Wei said. Captain, the information is the same. It seems that there's nothing wrong with this Wei Jing. But within a minute after we entered Bai Ji's house, he stared at us with binoculars. This shouldn't be a coincidence, right? Looking casually, it's too much of a coincidence. Little brother, I'm not just looking at you. Who else are you looking at? There are many residents here. Many of the residents' bathroom and bedroom curtains are not drawn properly. Sometimes there's a gap. My binoculars are good. As long as there's no cover, it's like looking at a few 100 meters away from the window. I've been single all my life. When I want a woman, I'll look and satisfy my cravings. As he spoke, his face revealed a wretched smile that all men understood. Bah, old pervert. Is that so? Yang Yang, give me the restraining handcuffs. Yang Yang took the restraining handcuffs from his waist and handed them to Wang Lan. Captain, do you want to take him back for interrogation? Since he's a suspect, take him back and investigate properly. Wang Lan took the restraining handcuffs and walked towards Old Man Wei. You? What are you doing? Don't mess around. You? Don't be afraid, it's fine. I just want to ask you to go to the Heavenly Sword Bureau for an investigation. Don't worry, if you're innocent, you'll be released. What Heavenly Sword Bureau? I don't know. Aren't you guards? Do you have an arrest warrant? This is kidnapping. Help, help, stop screaming. The Heavenly Sword Bureau is arresting people. Even if you scream your lungs out, no one will care about you. Wang Lan sneered and snorted. When the two young ladies heard this, their faces immediately lit up with smiles. These two girls usually watched a lot of dramas. Wang Lan stepped in front of Old Man Wei and opened the handcuffs to his wrists. As long as the restraining handcuffs were cuffed, although it might not be able to suppress everyone's star power, it had a strong suppressive effect on the control of star power. A moment of obstruction of star power could lead to an unnatural death. So after being cuffed, even if they could break free from the restraining handcuffs, they wouldn't dare to do so in public. If they were caught in the process of breaking free, they would die in vain. Just as the handcuffs were about to be put on, a terrifying wave of star power exploded like a barrel of oil. In an instant, Wang Lan's Zanpakuto automatically appeared in his hand. Boom, with a loud bang, a shock wave swept over. Bai Su, who was unprepared, was sent flying by the terrifying impact. Although the other three weren't as flustered as Baiji, they weren't much better off. It wasn't that the so-called elite team's ability to adapt was bad. It was just that, on their first official mission, they met a guy who could completely hide his star power. All Takashi Hoshi would try to hide their star power. But there were very few star power fluctuations that could not be sensed by the perception type Takashi Hoshi. Even the 5 emperors couldn't hide it. At most, they could reduce the intensity of the fluctuations. For the perception type Takashi Hoshi, as long as it existed, it would be sensed. As long as it was a Takashi Hoshi, it must have a star palace. As long as it had a star palace and star power in the body, it could be sensed even if it was completely still. And the ability to completely hide one's perception was a rare ability among rare abilities. They encountered it on their first mission. Their faces couldn't be more gloomy. The shockwave rolled up the dust in the room. Thick smoke instantly billowed. Wang Lan's figure stepped back, holding the Zanpakuto in front of his chest. His legs left long scratches on the ground. In the billowing dust, Old Man Wei's body slowly straightened up. Straightening up, Old Man Wei exuded an aura as majestic as a mountain. At this moment, he was as straight as a pine tree. Old Man Wei stretched out his hands. Whoosh whoosh. A katana and a long sword flew out from a pile of debris and fell into Old Man Wei's hands. Kid, you're really stubborn. I've explained all your doubts, and you're still so stubborn? I didn't want to complicate things and spare your lives, but you didn't want to take the road to Yangguan. It's really you. Yang, guard the array barrier. Barrier was a skill that the Heavenly Sword Bureau's team had to master. The strength of the team members varied, so the power of the barrier was also different. Yang and the others were all experts above the galaxy realm. Even supercluster late-stage experts might not be able to break the barrier. And the other function of the barrier was to prevent the suspect from escaping. Once trapped in the barrier, the suspect would have a hard time escaping. So the moment Wang Lan's voice fell, Old Man Wei's figure flashed and appeared in front of Bai Su at a strange speed. Dang! The Zanpakuto blocked Old Man Wei's attack. And at this moment, Bai Su was already pale with fright. Old Man Wei's attack was close to her neck, but Bai Su didn't notice it at all. If Wang Lan hadn't blocked the attack in an instant, she would already be dead. Bai Su was an elite. A 20-year-old galaxy middle-stage expert would be praised as a genius wherever she went. But she almost became a genius who died prematurely as a negative example. You can keep up with my speed? Old Man Wei shouted in surprise. Normally, Old Man Wei's speed had already reached a certain limit. In the galaxy realm, there were no more than 10 people faster than him. This was Old Man Wei's confidence. But no matter how fast you were, it was still just speed. Wang Lan's perplexing phantom track was Flash. Flash's perplexing phantom track plus gold-grade basic sword technique and basic saber technique. In terms of close combat, Wang Lan was not afraid. In an instant, Old Man Wei's saber and sword attacked, and Wang Lan was instantly engulfed in a saber-light screen. Old Man Wei's attribute should be wind, and he had already developed the wind's sharpness to the extreme. His moves could not be considered exquisite, but the world's martial arts were unbreakable. While the two-handed saber and sword danced with completely different attack moves, he could still be as fast as lightning. It was no wonder that the Duanmu clan dispatched death warriors, and even Duanmu Jing, were cleanly killed by him in a matter of minutes. Dang dang dang, a burst of fierce fighting sounds echoed. Golden spears clashed, forming a line. It was obviously a battle between two people, but it gave the 4 people the impression that 2 armies were fighting. Old Man Wei's close combat had always been invincible, and this kind of close combat, Wang Lan had never been afraid. After Wang Lan repeatedly blocked Old Man Wei's attacks on Yang and the other 3, the 4 finally completed their formation. Sealing barrier, purple flame seal. As the 4 people's star power surged, the ceiling array converged like a big windmill. In an instant, 4 purple flame walls rose to the sky, surrounding the entire room, Wang Lan and Old Man Wei in the middle. Boom! With a loud sound, Wang Lan and Old Man Wei separated after a fight. Before Old Man Wei defeated Wang Lan, he did not dare to try to destroy the barrier again. Because once he tried to destroy the barrier, Wang Lan would instantly give a fatal blow. At such a young age, you can actually tie with me. When did Jade State have such a young genius like you? Are you from Qilin Courtyard? Old Man Wei asked doubtfully. Although Wang Lan did not know what Qilin Courtyard was, he was too lazy to talk nonsense. The Zanpakuto in his hand, even if disguised, was the world's top divine weapon. But in this round of slashing, the opponent's saber and sword had cut out dense gaps. The opponent's attainments in the wind attribute and sharpness attribute had reached the point that Wang Lan was amazed. Chapter 320. What's your relationship with Shao Qing? Wang Lan asked in a low voice. 15 years ago, the 7th Battalion of the Northwest Military Region's 3rd Takashi Hoshi Legion was ordered to rescue a small team that had fallen into an alternate dimension. The exotic beasts inside are stronger than we imagined. We paid the price of 50 casualties to find the besieged squad. The battalion commander told us to buy time for them to retreat, and to wait for reinforcements. 3 days we fought in the alternate dimension for 3 whole days. But in the end, the dimension door closed, and only the 2 of us were left of the 30 brothers. My little brother fell into my arms and asked me if the reinforcements had come. When would they come? Ha 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 ha. He was still thinking about reinforcements even when he died. But the higher-ups had already given up on us. 30 brothers, and the 50 brothers who died on the way in, were sacrificed just to exchange for the life of a young master of the Yu family. The military's initial plan was to use our lives to exchange for the life of a single person. On what basis? Don't tell me that the lives of those who risked their lives for the country aren't lives? Aren't they worth anything? You asked me if I knew Shao Qing, or we're just lonely ghosts who returned to the mortal realm. So that's how it is. You stayed in the dark, and Shao Qing stayed in the open. Shao Qing died and you took revenge for him? No, since we've embarked on this path, we'll have to pay for it sooner or later. Shao Qing was captured and executed, and none of us resented him. Shao Qing kept his promise even when he died, and didn't betray us. Ghosts like us, who have been betrayed, hate betrayers the most. But they weren't willing to let him go, and even wanted to eliminate his family. It's fine if Shao Qing's lover died, and it's fine if that woman's child died. But they shouldn't have extended their hands to Bai Ji. We hid Bai Ji so well, but they still weren't willing to let her go. Since that's the case, don't blame us for fighting to the death. Since you can find this place, you can take away the things Shao Qing left behind. But you have to let me go first. Ah? It's not even dark yet and you're already so drunk? Then all of you can die. Old Man Wei instantly brandished his 2 swords. Sword lights flashed and sword energies crisscrossed. A sword light formed a sword wheel that attacked Wang Lan. Wang Lan hurriedly held his sword horizontally in front of his chest. In an instant, he slashed out 15 sword chis and finally defeated the sword chis in front of him. But the Zanpakuto was already overwhelmed, and it was covered with shocking cracks. Wang Lan took a deep breath. Because the area was too small, Wang Lan's Takashi Hoshi did not have much of an advantage. Fortunately, the same restriction would also restrict Old Man Wei. Moreover, close combat was Wang Lan's best fighting style. Wang Lan held his blade in front of him. Bloom, sword of light. As his voice fell, the Zanpakuto instantly exploded and turned into stars all over the sky. When the stars gathered, they formed a long sword made of light. This scene appeared in front of Old Man Wei in surprise. Old Man Wei looked at Wang Lan unnaturally. Is this a Takashi Hoshi skill or a Star Palace artifact? If it's a Takashi Hoshi skill, this sword was obviously transformed from the Zanpakuto. But if it's a Star Palace artifact, how come a Star Palace artifact can also perform a Takashi Hoshi skill? Wang Lan's figure flashed, and he instantly flashed to the side of Old Man Wei, and the sword of light slashed down. Dang! Old Man Wei raised his Zanpakuto block, and the light overflowed. Wang Lan's sword danced again in an instant, and the trajectory of the sword left an afterimage of the light blade. The light blade instantly attacked Old Man Wei, and Old Man Wei quickly blocked with his sword. But at the same time, Wang Lan's sword had already pierced over. Old Man Wei quickly blocked with the Zanpakuto in his left hand. If Old Man Wei could use different Zanpakuto and Zanpakuto, this move would be enough to kill him. Arrow rain! Suddenly, Wang Lan jumped back and flew high into the sky. With a light point of the sword, countless light blades turned into dense arrows and bombarded Old Man Wei. Seeing this scene, Old Man Wei was so scared that his face turned pale. He had seen sword chi before. When the sword stabbed out, a sword chi would shoot out. To release several sword chi in an instant, one had to stab out several times. So, anyone who could release more than 10 sword chi in an instant was definitely an expert at the peak of sword Dao. But Wang Lan had only stabbed out once, and countless arrows rained down like a rainstorm. What the hell is this? Although he was terrified, his movements didn't slow down at all. He hurriedly blocked the rain of arrows. However, as soon as he blocked the rain of arrows, Wang Lan's Zanpakuto danced again, and countless light blades like crescent moons drew an arc trajectory and bombarded the opponent. Not only were there many, but they were also fast. At this moment, Old Man Wei had 3 words stuck in his throat. Wang Lan's astral power level was 2 levels lower than his, but at this moment, he was crushed as if he had encountered a titled expert. Boom! The Zanpakuto in his hand shattered and turned into stars all over the sky. The sword in his hand was broken and fell from the broken blade powerlessly. Wang Lan gently stabbed out, and the sword instantly became 3 meters long. The golden light blade pierced deeply into Old Man Wei's chest, shattering his heart. Old Man Wei stared at Wang Lan, then suddenly opened his mouth and vomited a mouthful of black blood. You actually defeated me in close combat with swords and sabers. Ha ha! Cough, cough, cough. Wang Lan put away the light blade, and the light blade once again returned to the disguised appearance of Itachi. The scabbard slowly closed. At this moment, should Wang Lan softly say, "You Luoxue?" Unfortunately, Yu Jifeng was already dead. From Wang Lan's Zanpakuto Shurkai to killing Old Man Wei, the whole process took less than a minute. Moreover, this victory didn't have the slightest trace of luck, but a Star Sea Realm expert was killed head-on. If the 4-person team was a little worried about Wang Lan's strength before, then all these worries were gone now. Killing a Star Sea Realm expert head-on, if you're so good, then go ahead. Although this Star Sea Realm expert seemed to only know how to use Zanpakuto, and seemed to be limited in range of movement. But wasn't this restriction the same on Wang Lan? Bai Su looked at Wang Lan with eyes full of stars, completely falling into a little fangirl. Even Zhang Zhao's eyes looking at Wang Lan became different. Leapfrog kill reward. 1000 EXP, 80 SP. The system prompt sounded, but Wang Lan didn't care at all. These EXP and SP were not enough to fill the gaps between his teeth. The enchantment was removed? What, you want to take me back? Wang Lan suddenly became angry after coming back to his senses. The 4 of them were still controlling the enchantment. Speaking of the quality of the 4 people, they shouldn't have reacted so slowly. It was really because Wang Lan's battle just now was too classic, and their minds were still replaying it over and over again. If they were in Wang Lan's situation, the result was very realistic, the kind that couldn't be more dead. Quick, everyone search carefully, we must find the image of Shao Qing, he said, even if we have to dig 3 feet underground. In fact, they didn't need to dig 3 feet underground. Under Zhang Zhao's Earth attribute Takashi Hoshi's search, they found 7 to 8 metal boxes hidden in the cement floor. When they opened it, they couldn't stay calm. They were all mid-grade soul beads. Only one box had more than 10 low-grade soul bead. Wang Lan suspiciously came to the low-grade soul beads, looked at the soul beads in the box, and took out one. With just a glance, his face understood. Sure enough, they were all mid-grade soul beads. There was no reason to make a box of low-grade soul bead. To Wang Lan, these low-grade soul beads were the most valuable things. Take these things and go back. Wang Lan waved her hand. Also, inform the superintendent to come and clean up the mess. Verify if he is the murderer or not. Although we have already confirmed it, we still need objective evidence. Okay. Wang Lan came to the window and looked at the quiet neighborhood, suddenly feeling a little melancholy. He had been in this world for 18 years, but he always had a feeling of being out of place. Maybe it was because he lacked a sense of belonging. Suddenly, Wang Lan's eyes narrowed slightly. In the distance, a somewhat familiar figure appeared at the entrance of the neighborhood, walking over step by step. Why is he here? Wang Lan's eyes flashed. I'll leave this to you guys, I'll leave first. Captain, did you find something? Bai Su bounced to Wang Lan's side, suspecting that this girl was born in the year of the rabbit. That's not right, I'm born in the year of the snake. He's 3 years older, so shouldn't he be born in the year of the tiger? Tigger? No, I met a senior, I'm going to say hello. Duanmu Fanghua carried a convenience bag and slowly walked along the inner road. His deep face seemed to be hiding his thoughts. While walking, his eyebrows wrinkled from time to time. Senior Fanghua. Suddenly, a call interrupted Duanmu Fanghua's contemplation. Duanmu Fanghua stopped and turned his head to look, his face suddenly showing a smile. Wang Lan classmate. Perhaps at this moment, the two people's hearts simultaneously sounded a voice. Pei. Honey mouth and a sword in the belly. Both of them knew that their relationship with each other was not harmonious. On the contrary, the two of them had a big disagreement before. That time with Duanmu Yi, Wang Lan originally wanted to beat up both the rabbit and the deer. Duanmu Yi should be dealt with. This Duanmu Fanghua may not be a good thing. However, Duanmu Fanghua was apprenticed to the vice principal, Nangong Meng, and the things that Duanmu Yi did indeed have nothing to do with Duanmu Fanghua, so Duanmu Fanghua was released that night. After that, Wang Lan did not see Duanmu Fanghua in school. He heard from his classmates that Duanmu Fanghua was still in the student union. The reason why Wang Lan did not see him was because he had been hiding from Wang Lan. When the two of them met, it was absolutely impossible for them to show a smile of reunion after a long separation. But the two of them, whose acting skills were passable, actually acted out a scene of an old friend reuniting with an old friend in a foreign land. Why is Wang Lan classmate here? I'm looking for a friend, where's Senior Duanmu? Also looking for a friend? Duanmu Fanghua raised the convenience bag in his hand. Green onion ginger? Looking for a friend can bring these things? My family lives here. Isn't Duanmu Fanghua a member of the Duanmu family? Why do you live here? Could it be that you rented the house? That's not right, this place is not close to the school. Live in the Duanmu family? Who told you that? Duanmu Fanghua's smile was somewhat forced. I don't deserve to live in the Duanmu family, my mother and I have always lived here. It's rare to meet Senior Duanmu, don't you want to invite me to your house to take a look? Wang Lan asked with a smile. Duanmu Fanghua's face slightly changed, and his smile could not be maintained, but he still nodded. All right, but when you see my mother later, don't call me Senior Duanmu or Duanmu Fanghua. My name is Mu Fanghua. Chapter 321. Why? Actually, a lot of people in the school know, but they don't talk about it because they care about my reputation. I'm Duanmu Qingsong's illegitimate son, and I'm not recognized by the Duanmu family. Do you think Duanmu Yi will let this go? Ever since he came to Cebu Gakuen in Shanghai, he has been spreading the news everywhere. 20 years ago, my mother was deceived by Duanmu Qingsong's fake appearance and thought she had found a man she could entrust her life to. However, Duanmu Qingsang did not fulfill his promise. In order to inherit the position of the head of the family, he abandoned my mother and married a woman from the Liu family. In a fit of anger, my mother drew a clear line with Duanmu Qingsang and moved here alone. I've been living here for 15 years. My mother doesn't allow me to have anything to do with the Duanmu family. My name on my ID card is my mother's surname. My real name is Mu Fanghua. When she said this, Wang Lan almost thought that Duanmu Fanghua was going to reveal her real name. Her real name was out. Then why are you meddling in Duanmu Yi's business? Looks like you didn't listen to your mother. If I didn't rely on the Duanmu family, would I be at the Galaxy grade now? Would I be able to get into Cebu Gakuen in Shanghai? Would I be able to become teacher Nangong's disciple? Wang Lan, people like you who grew up soaking in soul orbs can't understand the fate of people like us at the bottom. Why does everyone think that I'm the kind of person who was born with a golden spoon? Half a year ago, I was still an unknown passerby, okay? Although soul orbs are important, it's not like I can't obtain them with my own ability. Anyway, all my soul orbs were obtained by myself. I didn't rely on anyone's charity. Okay, I might not be able to outtalk you. We've reached my house. Take the elevator to the 10th floor. However, I still have to ask you not to expose me later. Okay. Mom, I'm back. Matt? You have a friend? Hello, Auntie, I'm Senior Mu's classmate. I'm a freshman this year. You child, why didn't you call me in advance if you have a guest? I didn't prepare anything. Duanmu Fanghua's mother angrily said this. No, Auntie, I met Fanghua in the community, so I came to recognize the door. I'll leave after sitting for a while. Duanmu Fanghua's mother was a very intellectual woman. Her legs were injured and she sat in a wheelchair. He had short hair and wore a pair of artistic glasses. Judging from her proficiency in operating the wheelchair, she must have lived in a wheelchair for a long time. Have a seat first, I'll get you some water. No need, no need. You really don't need to trouble yourself. Wang Lan quickly stood up and said, Mom, that's my classmate. You don't have to be so polite. Don't move, I'll do it. The mother and daughter pair made Wang Lan a little embarrassed. The house didn't look big. It should be about 70 or 80 square meters. If it was just the two of them, it would be fine, but after Duanmu Fanghua got married, it might be crowded. The decoration of the house was still very retro. It should have been installed for a long time. There was no ceiling, and the top of the head was just coated with plaster. The house was not big, but it was very tidy. Looks like Duanmu Fanghua didn't lie to me. He really does live in Jinghua Mansion. Senior Auntie, you really don't need to trouble yourself. I already know the main door. I'll find Senior to play in the future. This child, you just sat down and you want to leave? Why don't you leave after dinner? No, I have an appointment with my classmate to play games. That, Senior Auntie, I'll leave first. Then, I won't keep you. Fanghua, send your classmate off. I'm looking after the pot. I'll look after it, you go. No need, Duanmu Fanghua enthusiastically sent Wang Lan to the door. Duanmu Fanghua smiled. Don't be offended. My mom's legs are inconvenient. She's usually very lonely at home. It's rare for someone to come, so she's a little more enthusiastic. Although your mom's legs aren't very good, at least you still have a mom. I remember a good song a few years ago. Listen to your mom, don't let her get hurt. Leaving these words, Wang Lan's figure disappeared from the elevator. The smile on Duanmu Fanghua's face disappeared the moment Wang Lan's elevator completely closed. She snorted coldly, turned around, opened the door and walked into the house. At this moment, Madame Mu's back was facing Duanmu Fanghua. Her face was calm as she looked out the window. You're involved with the Duanmu family again? No. Perhaps she was used to lying. Duanmu Fanghua's lie came out naturally. There was no trace of guilt or unnaturalness on her face. You're still denying it? That student of yours isn't an ordinary student. When he entered the house, the first thing he looked at was me. Then, he looked at the decorations of my house. Finally, after confirming something, he stood up and left. Mom, have you been alone at home for too long? You like to let your imagination run wild? What the hell are you talking about? Isn't it normal for my classmate to observe you when he comes to my house? When I go to other people's houses, I have to see if the host welcomes me or not. Also, it's normal for him to look at my house's decorations. My house's decorations are so retro. It's definitely rare. Am I overthinking? You're definitely overthinking. Is that so? You've never brought a classmate home before. This time, you suddenly brought someone home. You've never brought back those two good friends of yours from the student union. As for this Wang Lan, I've never heard of his name before. Yet you brought him back? This isn't like you. Mom, it's because I want to curry favor with him. Don't overthink it. I've really drawn a clear line with the Duanmu family. That better be the case. I heard that Duanmu is dead. Now that he's dead, don't think that your chance has come. Even if the Duanmu family wants to carry you to the Duanmu family, it will have to wait until after I'm dead. I'm warning you, if you step into the Duanmu family, I'll kill myself right in front of you. Mom, I won't. Wang Lan's thigh is much thicker than the Duanmu family. I won't be stupid enough to get on that sinking ship of the Duanmu family. It's good that you know. Hurry up and look after the pot. Be careful not to burn it. When they returned from Duanmu Fanghua's house, the team of 4 was already waiting downstairs. The superintendent's men had also come and pulled up the tape to maintain order. Captain, let's go. The SUV started and drove out of the neighborhood onto the highway. It was noon. Although there weren't as many cars as during the evening rush hour, because it was the weekend, the cars on the highway were already moving one after another. The case is solved? Suddenly, Louis Feng, who was beside Wang Lan, asked like a zombie. You're still sleepwalking? It's solved. The murderer was executed by the captain on the spot. But why do I feel like I didn't do anything? It's solved just like that? It's only been a day and a half. What else do you want? Do you want to go through so much trouble and chase from the south to the north to catch the murderer to solve the case? Zhang Xiao, who was in the front passenger seat, sneered. This is too fast. The Bureau has been handling such a difficult case for almost a month and there's no progress at all. Now that it's in our hands, it's solved in a day and a half? This is enough for me to act cool for a year. Are you the one who solved it? The case was solved by the captain. Captain, something's wrong, Yang Yang, who was driving, suddenly said. Yang Yang's tone became more respectful. In the past, Yang Yang's tone towards Wang Lan was just to fulfill his position. But now, after Wang Lan single-handedly killed a Star Sea Realm expert, Yang Yang had enough recognition of Wang Lan's strength. In terms of military rank, Yang Yang was a lieutenant colonel, one level higher than Wang Lan. There are 4 cars behind us that are overtaking and approaching quickly. I suspect that they're coming for us. Can you shake them off? I can't shake them off. There are so many cars on the highway. If I follow them, I'll cause a big accident. Go down the ramp in front. Go to a place with fewer people. Yang Yang quickly turned into the ramp, and the 4 cars behind followed him down the ramp. Perhaps the other party didn't want to cause trouble in a crowded place. After Wang Lan got off the highway, they didn't chase after him like before. Instead, they followed from a distance. They followed for more than 10 minutes until they reached a remote place. Wang Lan's car stopped and the 4 cars also stopped 100 meters away from each other. Soon, 7 or 8 cars came from all directions and surrounded Wang Lan's off-road vehicle. The doors of the other party opened, and 5 people came out of each car. It was estimated that there were more than 50 people. Friend, we don't want to make a big deal out of this. As long as you give us the person you caught from Jinghua Mansion and the things you got, we'll be fine. Moreover, everyone will be thanked. The amount of gratitude is enough to let you live the rest of your life without worry. Otherwise, we'll have to ask you to die. A low voice sounded from one of the cars. Oh! Yang Yang chuckled. You dare to surround the Heavenly Sword Bureau's car? I've been working in the Heavenly Sword Bureau for so many years, but I've never seen such a thing. Captain, what should we do? Never seen or heard of such a thing. What else can we do? Yifeng, Bai Su, Zhang Xiao, stay in the car to protect the evidence. Yang Yang, you take the east and I'll take the west. Make it quick. Yes. Yang Yang slowly opened the car door. The moment the car door opened, his body liquefied, as if he had turned into a silver liquid robot. The moment Wang Lan's body landed, he pointed a finger at the sky. Astral power surged, and a magic array appeared in the sky. Disperse! One of the people in the convoy roared. Meteor shower. His warning was too late. The moment that person shouted, the meteor shower in the sky came crashing down. Boom, boom, boom. Explosions rang out one after another. The people surrounding Wang Lan were dumbfounded on the spot. Did it have to be so horrifying? Did he want to go all out? Even if he was a Star Sea Realm Takashi Hoshi, couldn't he be a normal Star Sea Realm cultivator? Using an S-grade Takashi Hoshi technique right off the bat? Was this something a human could do? The meteor shower killed at least 7 or 8 people. Those who were lucky enough to escape didn't end up well either. The car exploded, the meteor shower in the sky, and the smoke in the air. This wasn't a scene of a group of people surrounding one person. It was a group of people being tortured by one person. But this wasn't the end. After Wang Lan used the meteor shower, he slammed the ground. Before the other party could react, the S-grade Takashi Hoshi technique was activated. Lava gush. Hot red lava gushed out from the ground, instantly engulfing a 50-meter area in front of Wang Lan. As long as one was covered by the lava, unless they had a defensive Takashi Hoshi technique, they would all be swallowed by the lava. Chapter 322. This scene scared the 3 people in the car silly. Just now, the 3 of them were unhappy that Wang Lan asked them to stay in the car. They felt that as members of the team, how could they watch the show from the back? Previously, when the 4 of them were setting up the barrier, Wang Lan and Old Man Wei's duel had already made them unhappy. Moreover, before Wang Lan made his move, he even asked Yang Yang to pay attention to the 3 of them, making them feel like burdens. Of course, Old Man Wei was a quick-kill Takashi Hoshi and a Star Sea Realm cultivator. If the threat was too great, they could bear it. But now, a group of unknown Takashi Hoshi dared to block the Heavenly Sword Bureau's car, and you even asked us to watch the show. Isn't this too much? What protection? I think you're looking down on our independent team. But now, Mr. Wang, you're awesome. You're right. An S-rank meteor shower followed by an S-rank Takashi Hoshi? Not to mention a group of unknown level dregs, even a Star Sea Realm cultivator would have to kneel. You said Wang Lan was Nebula? Is there such a freaking Nebula? Previously, when Wang Lan and Old Man Wei were close to each other, they thought that Wang Lan's specialty was swordsmanship, and Old Man Wei was unlucky to run into this abnormal Wang Lan. But now, sorry, I was wrong. Old Man Wei, you died unjustly. Dying without being able to experience Wang Lan's Takashi Hoshi's explosion was too pitiful. Wang Lan was very happy. After coming out of the 9-story pagoda, his strength had greatly increased. Just like the meteor shower and the lava gush, he only mastered them after coming out. After learning the Takashi Hoshi technique, he didn't pretend to be cool. But if he casually pretended to be cool, he would be letting down this S-rank Takashi Hoshi technique. Finally, there were dregs who came out of nowhere to block the door. Wang Lan, who had been holding back for a long time, couldn't bear it anymore. As for the power of the 2 Takashi Hoshi techniques, he was quite satisfied. Meteor Shower was an all-terrain Takashi Hoshi skill, and Yu Ruoyun had used it many times. It was also an S-rank Takashi Hoshi skill, but its power was naturally much stronger than that of surging sea of flames. Therefore, Wang Lan had long been envious. As for the magma formed from the fusion of the earth-surge sea of flames and the meteor shower, its might was just that. It directly soared to the category of beyond S rank. If it wasn't for the fact that the attack range wasn't 100 meters, Takashi Hoshi's skill would have been beyond S rank. Who could swim in lava? Unless you have a F***King special ability. Otherwise, I'll turn you into a fossil one by one. Originally, Wang Lan had 30 to 40 people on his side, but after the meteor shower, 1/3 of them had been destroyed. And after the earth gush lava, only 6 or 7 kittens and puppies were left alive. If the pretentious person who spoke just now was here, Wang Lan would really want to ask him, "What did you say just now?" Looking at the 3 dumbfounded people in the car, Wang Lan gently knocked on the car window. "Captain, you're too fierce." In 3 seconds, 2S rank Takashi Hoshi skills smashed down and directly wiped them out? "Give me some soul orbs, I don't have enough star power." One meteor shower consumed more than half of his star power, and the earth gush lava also consumed all the star power in the Yangtze. Therefore, Wang Lan was very weak now. When he thought of what Bai Su said, Wang Lan's face became a little ugly. 3 seconds, you're too fierce? Who are you scolding? Anyway, Old Man Wei had obtained a lot of mid-grade soul orbs, so taking one wasn't a big deal. Moreover, this was a battle consumption, so it wasn't considered embezzlement. After absorbing the mid-grade soul orb, his star power was instantly filled. "Captain, there are still survivors." Boom! With a loud bang, the ground suddenly split open, and the gushing lava instantly sank into the ground. When the lava disappeared, 5 to 6 3-meter-tall Buddha statues appeared at the bottom of the lava. The Buddha statues instantly shattered, and figures rushed out from the Buddha statues, charging at Wang Lan with a fearless aura. "Everyone, don't be afraid. He's just a Nebula Takashi Hoshi. He must have paid a great price to use 2 S-rank skills. He didn't continue to attack, which means that he's exhausted. Kill him." A battered and exhausted middle-aged man encouraged his subordinates while charging. But when he said this, even the emotionless men of sacrifice couldn't help but twitch their mouths. Is it good to lie through your teeth like this? Look at his calm and composed appearance. Where does he look like he's paying a price? Where does he look like he's exhausted? Although we're men of sacrifice, we're not stupid, okay? But you're right about one thing. An army is trained for 1,000 days to be used in a single moment. As men of sacrifice, they still had some professional ethic. They knew that Wang Lan was ridiculously strong, but they still charged at him without fear of death. Wang Lan's star power flashed again, and the charging men of sacrifice paused slightly. Wang Lan's star palace opened, and 2 streams of light rushed out of the star palace. The Phoenix Saint robe disintegrated and instantly covered Wang Lan's body, and the Zanpakuto was instantly unsheathed. Takashi Hoshi, attack him, wind fire net. Almost at the same time as the other party gave the order, the combination of wind net and flame blade was used in tandem with Takashi Hoshi. Damn, what's this? An all-out attack by sea, land, and air? Lu Yifeng blurted out. What do you mean? First, it was a meteor shower from the sky, then lava gushed out from the ground, and now there's a crushing net of fire. Missiles in the front, torpedoes in the back, and tanks in the end. It's an all-out attack by sea, land, and air, leaving no room for maneuver. The few at the front didn't even have time to react before the fire net swept past them, and their bodies were instantly cut into pieces in the air. The few at the back used Takashi Hoshi to resist, but like a mantis trying to stop a car, they were cut into pieces by the fire net together with Takashi Hoshi. Only the early-stage Star Sea Realm expert who gave the order to block the wind fire net looked at the people he brought with him with a dumbfounded expression. He was the only one left. Suddenly, he was alerted and he turned around abruptly. Wang Lan's figure appeared beside him, and the sword of light from Shirkai slashed down. The opponent's body suddenly turned black. Wang Lan's sword slashed down, from the head to the chest. Elementization? Ha ha ha. The symbol of the Star Sea Realm is that you can elementize. Under elementization, you are immune to all physical attacks, unless the attribute is restrained. Otherwise, you are immune to all Takashi Hoshi's attacks. Suddenly, his voice stopped, and he stared at Wang Lan with his round eyes in horror. Your sword. Oh, I forgot to tell you, this sword also has a name, Soul Slasher. As the name implies, it can cut the soul and kill the soul. You can elementize because you are awesome, but I don't know if your soul can also elementize? Die. The sword of light instantly bloomed with tens of thousands of golden light, and in a flash, the golden light pierced the opponent's body full of holes. Wang Lan slowly pulled out his sword. A dignified Star Sea Realm expert was killed by the Soul Slasher. If he didn't choose to use elementization to resist, the Soul Slasher itself couldn't cut him, and he might have the power to fight. The fallen body gradually recovered to its original appearance, and the body was pierced into a sieve by the Sword of Light. And when Wang Lan killed most of the people on his side, Yang Yang's side fell into a bitter battle. There were 2 Star Sea Realm experts leading the team, and a group of Star Sea Realm Death Warriors. Needless to say, the Duanmu family had definitely put in a lot of effort. Wang Lan killed with the Sword of Light, and the rhythm of the opponent's attack on Yang Yang slowed down a little. Although they were fighting with Yang Yang, Wang Lan's demon-like actions were all seen by them. In a breath, a Star Sea Realm expert and a group of Nebula Star Sea Realm experts were all killed? You say you are a nebula? Is there a nebula as fierce as you? Rain of light. Wang Lan's figure jumped into the sky, and countless light spots poured down like raindrops. The opponent's Star Sea Realm expert suddenly used the S-grade Takashi Hoshi skill, and countless golden light burst out from his body. Hearing the name of the Takashi Hoshi skill, Wang Lan was really shocked, thinking that the Buddha's palm had come. In fact, this was a composite Takashi Hoshi skill, which was a combination of metal and earth attributes, a bit like Su Xiangwen's pure Yang Dharma idol. However, the pure Yang Dharma idol was a Yang attribute Takashi Hoshi skill, while the opponent used a combination of metal and earth attributes to create a huge 1,000-hand Buddha statue. Countless arms waved, launching a terrifying attack. The 1,000 hands slammed down as if the sky was collapsing. The clan leader's order was very direct. Whether it was snatched back or destroyed, it must not fall into the hands of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Otherwise, the Duanmu family would be finished. They had originally planned to snatch it back, but now it seemed that it was impossible. They could only gamble with their lives. Faced with the huge hand slamming down on their heads, Yang Yang and the 3 people in the car suddenly looked terrible. Not to mention that this move would definitely kill them, but the range of this move was too large. Even if they could dodge it, the car might not be able to. However, in the eyes of Wang Lan, this move only made Wang Lan smile disdainfully. Trash! He put his palms together and his astral power surged. Omniscient nature! Countless vines grew out of Wang Lan's body and spread in an instant. The palm of the Buddha statue suddenly froze in midair. The vines that emerged from Wang Lan's body instantly entangled the palm of the Buddha statue. This was the fundamental reason why Wang Lan called this move trash. It was too slow. How could an S-grade Takashi Hoshi skill be so slow? No matter how powerful it was, it would be useless if it couldn't hit the target. As the vines multiplied, in the blink of an eye, there were dancing vines within a 300-meter radius. The real power of omniscient nature was not the entanglement of the vines, but the ability of the vines to absorb astral power. Other Takashi Hoshi skills required an endless supply of astral power to maintain, but the wood-type Takashi Hoshi skill was the opposite. As long as the activation was successful, as long as the user fought against the Takashi Hoshi skill, not only would he not need the Takashi Hoshi's astral power, but he could also absorb the enemy's astral power to maintain his own vitality. Without the Takashi Hoshi skill, the Buddha statue seemed to have entered a time tunnel and quickly weathered and shattered. The arm of the Buddha statue that was entangled by the vines cracked visibly and turned into powder. Gradually, more and more hands appeared, and even the entire Buddha statue began to crack and collapse. Suddenly, a figure rushed out from the middle of the Buddha statue and turned into a stream of light, rushing into the sky to escape. They were all in Wang Lan's omniscient nature. If he let them escape, Wang Lan would lose face in the future. The astral sea realm expert, who had already exhausted his astral power, reacted sluggishly. Just as he realized that he had to dodge, the vines had already entangled his ankle. In an instant, countless vines wrapped around him like a mummy's shroud, turning him into a cocoon. When the dust settled, Yang Yang and the other 3 members of the team came to their senses. "Captain? You're too awesome, aren't you? How many S-grade Takashi Hoshi skills do you know? It's fine if you don't attack, but once you attack you must be an S-grade? Do you have to be so cruel?" "Captain, those kamikaze warriors have all committed suicide." Yang Yang came in front of a few kamikaze warriors and found that they had all shattered their hearts and died on the spot after realizing that there was nothing they could do. Chapter 323. What a bunch of men of sacrifice. Let's go, we've caught someone alive. You guys know how to seal, right? Sealing is a must-have skill for an independent team. Wang Lan released the vines of the omniscient nature, revealing a haggard middle-aged man who had his eyes rolled back as if he had been ravaged by a dozen rich women. Yang Yang and Zhang Xiao immediately attacked, and the 2 of them flashed with yin-yang star power and slapped the middle-aged man's forehead almost at the same time. 3 seconds later, the 2 of them released, and a yin-yang mark appeared between the middle-aged man's eyebrows. Done. Take him away. The 5 of them got into the car, and Wang Lan kept feeling that there was a pair of eyes staring at him. Wang Lan looked away and smiled at Bai Su. "Miss Bai Su, you've been staring at me all the way. Can you be more reserved?" "Captain, are you from the Yu family?" "What are you thinking? My surname is Wang. How can I be from the Yu family?" "More or less. If you add a little more, won't you be Yu?" "Is silence a tacit agreement?" "Captain, don't worry, we're an elite team, and we know the confidentiality rules. I promise we won't leak it out. You can forget about it. If you say that, you won't be able to tell Wang Yu apart in the future. My identity is so clean. Aren't you being too imaginative?" "But you know the wood element Takashi Hoshi skill. The wood element Takashi Hoshi skill is very rare, and the most famous one is the Yu family. No matter how rare the wood element is, how can it be rarer than the medical element? In fact, there are many wood element Takashi Hoshi, but only the famous experts are from the Yu family and the Duanmu family. Coupled with the strong rise of Emperor Qing, many wood element Takashi Hoshi want to rely on Emperor Qing and call themselves the Yu family to the outside world. It's causing misunderstandings for those who don't know the truth." "Wait, Captain, are you implying that I'm an ignorant bystander? Please remove the unspoken meaning. If you can understand it, what unspoken meaning is there?" Ha ha. After Wang Lan and the others left, the superintendent rushed over again. Today, the superintendent was a little sullen. He had been running behind the Heavenly Sword Bureau all day, either dealing with the aftermath or cleaning up the mess. The 4 of them went to Ming Ye's office to report. When Ming Ye heard Wang Lan report the results of the case, his expression froze for a full 5 seconds. Then, he swallowed the tea and pretended to be calm as he asked, "Only a day and a half has passed? Is the case solved?" "Yes, I solved it. This case is actually not difficult," Wang Lan said modestly. Behind him, Louis Feng's mouth twitched. "Not difficult? Not difficult, my ass. I still don't understand how the case was solved. How did you find Jing Hua Mansion? Last night before I went to bed, I found nothing. When I woke up this morning, you told me that you had a major clue. He felt that there was a missing piece of history there. Who is the murderer? Why did you kill him? The murderer is called Wei Jing. He was Xiao Qing's teammate back then. They were responsible for covering the retreat and were lucky enough to survive. He was in the early stage of the Star Sea realm and his fighting style was close combat. He had the talent to hide his body and star power. His sword skills were extremely high. Wei Jing? I have some impression of him. I think he was Bai Xiaoyun's captain. If it was him, then he should be from the Hellfire. Why did he kill him? To take revenge on society? After Xiao Qing was suppressed, the mastermind still tried to kill him. That's why he sent assassins to assassinate Bai Ji. Although Xiao Qing didn't reveal the mastermind, he didn't really leave no room for maneuver. If the mastermind wanted to eliminate him, Xiao Qing would use his backup plan to fight to the death. And this backup plan was in Wei Jing's hands. Wei Jing killed him to vent. In his words, he hated betrayers the most. That's all. Wait, you said you have information about the mastermind behind Xiao Qing? Is it the Duanmu clan? Mingyi couldn't calm down and hurriedly stood up to ask. It should be the Duanmu clan, but I don't have evidence. However, I found some mental imprint soul pearls in Wei Jing's house. There should be evidence left by Xiao Qing in them that can be used to lock onto the mastermind. Let's go. I'll report to the chief and check the evidence together. Oh right, chief. Can you help me investigate a person? Who? Duanmu Fanghua, also known as Mu Fanghua. I'll try to be as detailed as possible, including his family, relatives, friends, connections, etc. Why do you want to investigate him? I keep feeling that he's like a poisonous snake, which makes me uneasy. Moreover, when we arrested Wei Jing in Jinghua Mansion today, he was also there, although his family lives in Jinghua Mansion. However, on our way back, we were immediately intercepted and attacked by death warriors. How did our whereabouts get exposed? I don't believe that the Duanmu clan could know my every move so quickly. If they were so powerful, they would have controlled Shanghai long ago. You suspect that Duanmu Fanghua leaked information? Yes, I suspect that Duanmu Fanghua also happened to investigate Wei Jing. Because when I saw him, he was walking under Wei Jing's building. His family lives near the North Gate. Even if he came back from grocery shopping, there was no need to give up the closer North Gate and enter from the South Gate. But I'm just suspecting, there's no evidence. Good. I'll arrange someone to investigate as soon as possible. An hour later, Tring Jianlong came to the conference room with a middle-aged man. This is Special Commissioner Yu Ruozhen of the General Staff Department. This is our Shanghai Heavenly Sword Bureau's Operations Department Chief Ming Yi. This is Operations Department's Major Wang Lan. Hello, Chief. Wang Lan classmate, I've been looking forward to meeting you for a long time. In the future, please take care of Her Royal Highness. The other party politely shook hands with Wang Lan and said, but to Ming Yi, he was obviously a lot colder. Byakuya, tell me, what's the major discovery? Chief, Special Commissioner. Yesterday morning, I called Wang Lan and assigned him to investigate the recent bizarre serial murder case. Wang Lan really lived up to my expectations. In just a day and a half, he found the murderer. The murderer is called Wei Jing, an accomplice of Xiao Qing. The purpose of the murder was to avenge Xiao Qing. We collected a large number of middle-grade soul beads in Wei Jing's house. Most importantly, we collected the spiritual imprint soul beads left by Xiao Qing. These were the things that Xiao Qing was unwilling to confess even when he died. After I classified the evidence with the Evidence Department, we determined that Xiao Qing's behind-the-scenes supporter is Duanmu Qingsong, the patriarch of the Duanmu family. Xiao Qing left behind many images of him meeting Duanmu Qingsong and taking orders from him. Duanmu family? Humph, I should have thought of it. Yu Ruozhen's face didn't change. The Takashi Hoshi family is getting more and more outrageous. The world has been peaceful for 70 years, and many Takashi Hoshi families are almost rotten to the core. stealing space stones, stealing space stones, stealing soul beads, selling soul beads, etc. This Duanmu family is the top Takeshi Hoshi family in Jade State, and Duanmu Qingsong is the patriarch of the family. They don't even care about their face. That's it. Qing Jianlong was relatively calm and said faintly after listening, the purpose of attacking Shao Qing was to stabilize the soul bead market, not to completely destroy it. As for who was supporting Shao Qing, it wasn't particularly important. If it could be dealt with, then it would be done. If it couldn't be dealt with, then it would be left aside. Director, there is a video that is very unusual. Wang Lan. Yes. As Wang Lan spoke, he picked up a soul bead and read it. Then he opened his left hand and star power surged. A green screen with star power surging rose from Wang Lan's left hand, and an image appeared on the screen. It was a dark secret room. Duanmu Qingsong was sitting on the main seat, and Shao Qing was standing in front of Duanmu Qingsong with his head lowered, showing a respectful look. Shao Qing, I have just received 100,000 soul beads. Get rid of them as soon as possible. As soon as possible? How long is it? 1 month. Isn't it too rushed? The demand for soul beads is not very high recently. I don't want to hear about any difficulties. I just want you to give me results. I need a large sum of money now, and the client wants a large number of spatial stones. Putting 100,000 soul beads into the market will impact the price of soul beads, and the profit will shrink a lot. I need 5 billion. 100,000 soul beads can only be sold for 5 billion at the normal price. If we sell so many soul beads at once, we can only give up a part of the profit, and we have to sell them within a month. It is very difficult to reach 5 billion. At most 3 billion. Shao Qing, don't think that I don't know about your little tricks just because I handed everything to you. If I can raise you up, I can also raise him up. There are 10,000 mid-grade soul beads among 100,000 soul beads, and you are telling me that you can't get 5 billion? Yes, I will try my best. If there is nothing else, you can leave. Someone will send 100,000 soul beads to you tonight. Boss, may I be so bold as to ask a question? Where did these 100,000 soul beads come from? You can remember Lu Zhao's name. Yes, then I will take my leave. The image froze there, and the information contained in the video made everyone's expression turn serious. Cebu Gakuin's 100,000 soul beads were not sold by Lu Zhao, it was Duanmu Qingsong. What an old man! He is really daring, Yu Ruozhen shouted angrily. This is not the most important. Before this, the Heavenly Sword Bureau had been investigating who helped Lu Zhao sell the 100,000 soul beads from Cebu Gakuin. Lu Zhao was killed, and then Cebu Gakuin gave the clue that it was Vice Principal Qi Chongling. Then the Heavenly Sword Bureau rushed to Xishan Province, but Qi Chongling had disappeared. We also thought that the mastermind of the soul beads was Qi Chongling, and that he had fled in fear of punishment. But there were still many suspicious points. Qi Chongling did not seem like someone who would do such a thing. But because there were no clues, the investigation had to stop. Since these 100,000 soul beads came from Duanmu Qingsong, he must know who stole the soul bead. Ming Yi told the result of his discussion with Wang Lan. I'm afraid this is not the most important thing, Yu Ruozhen suddenly shouted darkly. Does that big rat hiding in Cebu Gakuin only know how to steal and sell soul beads? Commissioner, what you mean is, Director Qing, did you forget that there was a sword incident in Cebu Gakuin? Someone dared to plot against the second princess. The big rat in Cebu Gakuin was not of a low level to be able to successfully sneak into the 9-story pagoda. Since your Heavenly Sword Bureau has investigated clearly, the Duanmu family once sent death warriors to the 9-story pagoda to assassinate Bai Ji, then was the person who set the trap in Death Valley also him? Wang Lan's eyes flashed. It is very possible. Even if it is not one person, there must be a collusion. Then what are we waiting for? Arrest Duanmu Qingsong, Ming Yi shouted hurriedly. The Duanmu family, what a Duanmu family! The dog they raised for hundreds of years is starting to bite its master. Director Qing, for this arrest, the Heavenly Sword Bureau and the Yu family should work together. Chapter 324. After all, the Duanmu family is one of the top families in the Jade State. The Heavenly Sword Bureau alone may not be able to suppress the Duanmu family. It would be best if the Yu family could act together. The Duanmu family of Shanghai was one of the top 10 Takashi Hoshi families in the Jade State. It was a powerful Takashi Hoshi family. The Duanmu family had many talents and 5 titled battle pet warriors. However, no one knew Duanmu Qingsong's strength. According to the information collected by the Heavenly Sword Bureau, Duanmu Qingsong was at the peak of the Star Sea realm at best. When Wang Lan saw this information, a trace of doubt appeared on her face. Do you think Duanmu Qingsong, as the family head of the Duanmu family, is not worthy of his position? Yu Yi asked with a smile, looking at Wang Lan's expression. I have some doubts. No one said that the family head of a family must be the most powerful battle pet warrior in the family, Yu Ruozhen said to Wang Lan with a smile. Since Wang Lan met Yu Ruozhen the night before, Yu Ruozhen had been very close to Wang Lan. Yu Ruozhen and Qing Jianlong talked in a formal manner, but she treated Wang Lan as if they were old friends. Maybe it was because Yu Ruoyun and Yu Ruozhen were close. Actually, it's the opposite. Many Takashi Hoshi family heads are not particularly powerful. Take our Yu family as an example. The most powerful one is our eldest uncle, but he is not the family head. The family head is our second uncle. Our second uncle is powerful and is a titled battle pet warrior. But among the titled battle pet warriors, he is only at the middle level. In the Yu family, there are at least 20 people who are more powerful than our second uncle. The family head not only needs to be powerful, but also needs to manage the entire family. A policy can lead to the rise and fall of a family. Therefore, even though the family head can command the entire family, he is the one who has to work the hardest, because the slightest carelessness can bring incalculable losses to the family. When there are too many things to worry about, the family head will not put too much effort into cultivation. It would be considered good if the family head's strength did not regress, not to mention the increase in strength. There were even some Takashi Hoshi family members who were very talented and had a lot of room for growth that would be removed from the list of candidates for the position of patriarch. The family needs them to be stronger to stabilize the family's position. Is that so? Looks like I was wrong. Factions and clans have a fundamental meaning. If it's a faction, its flag must be the strongest, because it's the symbol of the faction. Only with a signboard would there be cohesion. However, the clan itself was connected by the bloodline and was naturally cohesive. What the clan leader needed more was the ability to manage. It's a pity that the Duanmu clan chose Duanmu Qingsong, this scum. 3 days ago, the Duanmu family secretly summoned the 5 titled battle pet warriors back to the family. They thought that they did it without anyone noticing. Ha ha. In fact, we have been monitoring them all this time. 5 titled battle pet warriors. Qing Jianlong heaved a long sigh. The Jade State only has slightly more than 300 titled battle pet warriors. What a great loss. Don't worry, Chief Qing. If the 5 of them are willing to turn over a new leaf, we won't have to kill them all. Uncle will personally take action tonight. When the lanterns were lit, a pale yellow full moon quietly hung in the sky. The sun in the west had just set. Wang Lan and his team of 4 sat in a cafe on a busy street. Yang Yang and the other 3 looked a little excited. Originally, except for Yang Yang, the other 3 were not qualified to take part in this operation. Their opponent was the Duanmu clan, which had more than 50 Star Sea Realm warriors. To attack such a powerful force, those below the Star Sea Realm would not be able to take part in the operation. This operation was a joint operation between the Shanghai Heavenly Sword Bureau and the Yu clan. The Yu clan directly dispatched 30-star Sea Realm warriors and 5 titled Battle Pet warriors. The Heavenly Sword Bureau also had 12-star Sea Realm warriors and 1 titled Battle Pet warrior, Qing Jianlong. As for the other members of the Heavenly Sword Bureau, they were just guarding the various roads to prevent the Duanmu clan from escaping. At first glance, the strength of the Duanmu clan didn't seem to be optimistic. The Duanmu clan seemed to be stronger than the Emperor Qing, but this operation had the support of the Emperor Qing. Otherwise, why would the Yu clan only dispatch 30-star Sea Realm warriors? The 3 of you, don't get too excited. Although we've been assigned to the operation team, let me remind you, don't rush forward blindly. That's the Duanmu clan, not the alternate space. The Duanmu clan is an old Takashi Hoshi clan with a few hundred years of history. Their strength is unfathomable. We're just here to be a bystander and catch some small fries to gain experience. Don't go looking for trouble. When the time comes, I'll have to apply for a martyr's medal for you. Yang Yang's low voice suddenly sounded. Vice Captain, how much are you looking down on us? We're an elite team, okay? It's true that you're an elite team, but the Duanmu clan is a giant beast. Don't be ignorant. I know. We'll just follow the 2 of you and take advantage of the situation. Wang Lan put away his phone and suddenly said, It's about time that the Duanmu clan sensed the problem. The operation is about to begin. The operation team consisted of about 10 teams, all of which were at the Star Sea Realm. They contacted each other through mobile phones and approached the Duanmu clan from all directions. Every independent team had a special battlefield correspondent. Wang Lan and Yang Yang each had a headset. Team 12, please take note. Head to Coordinate C in 5 minutes and launch the attack in 10 minutes. Your mission is to occupy and control the families in the underground parking lot of Building C as quickly as possible. Team 7 will cooperate with you during the operation. Understood. Wang Lan stood up and started to move. The 5-man team left the coffee shop with a whoosh. Their figures shuttled through the busy streets like fish. In the blink of an eye, they crossed 2 streets and arrived outside the Duanmu clan. Although the Duanmu clan's location was very quiet, it was less than 1 kilometer away from the bustling downtown area. They were really able to set up a hut in the human realm without any traffic. At that moment, a blue light screen rose above the Duanmu clan's walls. This was an electromagnetic barrier. One had to know that the electromagnetic barrier that Wang Lan's family used for cultivation was equipment that Jiang Xinyu and the others were envious of. However, the Duanmu clan actually had an electromagnetic barrier that enveloped the entire clan. The Duanmu clan itself was a huge residential area. If one were to look down from the sky, it would not be any different from other high-end residential areas. The only difference was that the structure was more like a Tai Chi 8 trigrams array. The outer area was a residential building. It was a 6-story building. The people who lived there were Takashi Hoshi and their families, who relied on the Duanmu clan. In the middle was the Duanmu clan's side branch and the leaders of the Duanmu clan's forces. It was a duplex structure. In the innermost ring was the Duanmu clan's direct line of descent and the Duanmu clan's upper echelons. In the center of the residential area was a large Tai Chi pattern practice field. There were clinics, supermarkets, shopping malls, and kindergartens in the residential area. The facilities were complete, just like a small town in the city. The total population of this residential area was around 7,000 people, but 4,000 to 5,000 of them were family members. But don't look at these family members. The wives of Takashi Hoshi were basically Takashi Hoshi. The ones who were really harmless were the children. Even the elderly could be veteran Takashi Hoshi. When a firework broke through the void, the operation began. Wang Lan instantly opened the Star Palace. The Phoenix constellation Saint Robe and Zanpakuto flew out of the Star Palace. Under normal circumstances, Wang Lan rarely put on the Saint Robe in advance. But this time was different. They were dealing with the Duanmu clan. Although the saint robe only covered 50% of the area, in principle, it covered 100%. Even the areas that were not covered by the saint robe would be transferred to the saint robe. Unless the defense of the saint robe was directly broken, the damage that Wang Lan received would be minimal. Coupled with the healing ability, the combination of the two might not be realistic for Wang Lan to be invincible, but it would not be difficult for Wang Lan to keep his life. When Wang Lan rushed out with the team, 4 black-clothed Takashi Hoshi suddenly rushed out from the side. Each of them had a ribbon tied to their forehead. The front of the ribbon was in the shape of a pair of magatama. The speed of the 4 of them was twice as fast as Wang Lan's team. In the blink of an eye, the star power surged, and a thunderbolt blasted out. In an instant, a gap appeared on the electromagnetic barrier that rose above the Duanmu clan's wall. The 4 of them passed through the gap like ghosts, and the gap quickly closed under the continuous electromagnetic force. "Quick!" Wang Lan roared and raised his finger. The electromagnetic thunderbolt turned into wings that spread out on his wrist. 3 thunder arrows in the shape of a triangle hit the electromagnetic gap that was gradually closing. Boom! 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 The electromagnetic barrier was torn open again, and the 5 of them rushed into the electromagnetic barrier like flowing light. "There are intruders here too!" There was a cry of alarm, and dozens of figures flashed. Just as Wang Lan and the others stood up, more than 20 Takashi Hoshi wearing the Duanmu clan's uniform rushed out from the green belt in the distance. "Who dares to invade the Duanmu clan? Magatama clan emblem? You are from the Yu clan? What is the Yu clan doing? What are they doing?" The Duanmu clan attempted to assassinate the second princess, and now the truth is out. If you know what's good for you, surrender. We will be lenient with those who are not involved. Bulsh *T. The Heavenly Sword Bureau's Operations Department has been ordered to arrest the leaders of the Duanmu clan. Those who are not involved, put down your weapons and surrender. After screening, those who are not involved will be released. You are just subordinates of the Duanmu clan. There is no need to be buried with the Duanmu clan, right? Wang Lan took out his identification and shouted. "Everyone, don't listen to his nonsense. The Heavenly Sword Bureau is a spy agency. Bringing the Yu clan to invade today is an act of aggression. Since we are subordinates of the Duanmu clan, our interests are closely tied to the Duanmu clan. If the Duanmu clan falls, do we still have any hope of rising again? That's right. Commander Wuji is here. Stop them." Amidst the commotion, both parties got into formation. Wang Lan sighed softly. It seemed like all the nonsense from before was in vain. "Attack!" Suddenly, the leader of the Yu clan team shouted. Wang Lan's team reacted instantly. The Takashi Hoshi of the Duanmu clan also quickly attacked. A chaotic battle was about to break out. Using the Phantom Perplexing track, Wang Lan's figure instantly appeared beside one of the Galaxy Realm experts. His soul slasher turned into a stream of light and slashed down. Clay armor. The opponent knew that it was too late to block with his blade, so he instantly used the earth element Takashi Hoshi technique. Clay instantly gushed out from his body, forming a layer of clay on his body. In the blink of an eye, the soft clay turned into hard concrete, successfully blocking the Soul Slasher's attack. Chapter 325. Crack! There was a sound of something being jammed, and the Zanpakuto was firmly stuck in the opponent's armor. But as soon as the sound was heard, thunder roared, and the Soul Slasher was instantly wrapped in lightning and cut into the opponent's body. Whoosh! The Soul Slasher cut through the opponent's shoulder. In an instant, Wang Lan brushed past the opponent's shoulder. Whoosh! The galaxy-grade Takashi Hoshi's shoulder was instantly bleeding. This kind of injury was not a big deal to a galaxy-grade Takashi Hoshi. As long as the attack did not enter his body, a 3-centimeter deep cut on his shoulder was nothing. But Wang Lan's attack was very strange. After being cut, half of his body was paralyzed. What's going on? Suddenly, the man's face changed drastically. Be careful of his sword. It has Takashi Hoshi's poison. With the man's reminder, Wang Lan had found his next target. Water break. The opponent's astral power surged, and his chest suddenly swelled up. In an instant, a water bomb rushed toward Wang Lan. Release, Sword of Light. In an instant, the soul slasher turned into a long sword formed by golden light. At the critical moment, the sword stabbed toward the opponent. Whoosh! The water was split by the sword, but the powerful impact made Wang Lan unable to move an inch. The opponent saw that Wang Lan's body was stopped, and a smile appeared on his face. But in an instant, his face suddenly changed. A beam of golden light had actually pierced his shoulder at some unknown time. Under such a powerful impact, even a large truck would be directly overturned. How could Wang Lan's sword go against the current and stab his shoulder? It was simply incomprehensible. If it was a regular sword, it naturally would not be able to go against the current. But Wang Lan's Sword of Light had both the characteristics of a sword and the characteristics of light. Water could not stop the penetration of light. So, the late-stage Galaxy-grade master only felt the strength in his body leave him, and his body was paralyzed. Captain! It took less than 2 seconds to take down 2 people in a row. Although the 2 of them were hit, they were only paralyzed and did not suffer any substantial damage. If it wasn't necessary, Wang Lan wouldn't kill. Although they belonged to the Duanmu clan's camp, they were not necessarily guilty. Especially the people at the bottom, they were just following orders. Moreover, it was impossible for his subordinates to know about those shameful crimes. In the entire Duanmu clan, there were only a few people who were truly guilty. According to the original procedures, the Heavenly Sword Bureau only needed to arrest Duanmu Qingsong and the Duanmu family's Gao Qing. With the Yu family and the Heavenly Sword Bureau working together, the Duanmu family would not resist. But the undercurrent was surging. Although Yu Ruoyun was safe and sound, she had indeed been assassinated. Even if they didn't succeed, it was enough to make the crowd excited. It was easy to be instigated when the crowd was agitated, so they needed an outlet to vent their anger. Coincidentally, the Duanmu clan was a very suitable target. Moreover, the best way to deal with the current situation was to cut the Gordian knot. The Yu family and the Heavenly Sword Bureau did not have time to argue with the Duanmu clan. Moreover, they would not be able to sleep well at night if they kept this venomous snake that could jump out and bite them at any time. As for why the outside world would ask why the Yu family and the Heavenly Sword Bureau would make such a big move against the Duanmu clan, the answer would be that the Duanmu clan had something to do with Princess Yu's assassination. What was the exact relationship? It was enough to fill in the blanks. Therefore, it was fine if they didn't make a move, but once they did, they had to kill the Duanmu clan. Since the Duanmu clan was not wronged, they shouldn't feel wronged. Although they knew that the Heavenly Sword Bureau had come knocking on their door, they could still kill anyone who dared to resist. However, Wang Lan still had a bit of kindness in his heart. If there was no need to, he would not go on a killing spree. Of course, if his safety was threatened, he would not hesitate when it was time to kill. There were a total of more than 20 Duanmu clan subordinate. On this side, there were 5 Star Sea Realm cultivators, 3 Galaxy Realm cultivators, and Wang Lan, who looked nebula but had many S-rank Takashi Hoshi techniques. All of them finished the battle in less than a minute. Rumble, suddenly, there was a loud sound, and a 2-headed giant beast rushed out of the Duanmu clan's encampment. The giant beast was 40 meters tall, like a skyscraper. Damn it, the Duanmu clan actually released a contracted mutated beast. A Takashi Hoshi from the Yu family shouted angrily. What's a contracted mutated beast? It's a tamed mutated beast that can be used as one's combat strength through a soul contract. Usually, it is raised in an alternate space. It can be summoned during a battle. The Duanmu clan's 2-headed shark is very powerful. It has the strength of at least a titled expert. Seeing that Wang Lan's side was performing so well, the other party explained. Let's go support them. I'll leave the mission here to you. You must find the women and children of the Duanmu clan and send them out. Yes. The process of attacking the Duanmu clan was naturally the process of capturing captive. The women and children of the Duanmu clan were the most important in this operation, and they had to be protected. If women and children died in the operation, then their operation was not a righteous one. That was the bottom line. If the Duanmu clan was forced into a corner, they could do anything. Moreover, this was not the first time this had happened. It seemed to have become a habit. For example, when destroying the nest of a criminal group, that group of crazy criminals would use their children and relatives as hostages to negotiate terms with the law enforcers. At this time, they were no longer husbands, sons, or fathers. They were naked devils. They would not hesitate to kill their own family members as much as they killed their enemies. As long as they could escape the punishment of the law, they would do anything. After Wang Lan and the Yu family's team separated, they immediately rushed forward. At the place where the contracted mutated beast appeared, the battle seemed to have reached a stalemate. Many people were rushing in that direction. Terrifying explosions and powerful astral power fluctuations were also surging wildly from that place. Let's go, Wang Lan ordered, and the 5-man team successfully advanced 100 meters. Stop, kill them. A dozen or so Takashi Hoshi teams appeared in front of them. Their average strength was nebula, and 3 or 4 of them were galaxy grade. This kind of strength was nothing in front of Wang Lan's team. Wang Lan's figure turned into a stream of light. The galaxy-grade expert seemed to have sensed the level of Wang Lan's astral power fluctuations, and a disdainful sneer appeared on his face. A nebula guy dared to rush over so brazenly? It seemed like he did not know how to write the word death. Just as this thought appeared in his mind, Wang Lan's figure disappeared in an instant. The galaxy-grade expert was still in shock when he suddenly felt a chill behind him. He did not know when Wang Lan had appeared behind him, and the sword of light gently slashed across his back. The attack of the soul slasher was both physical and spiritual, so even if the wound was small and did not affect the battle, the spiritual paralysis would make the body stiff and unable to resist. How should one describe the intercepting team rushing over from the opposite side? It was like instant coffee. They collided violently with Wang Lan's 5-man team, and then disappeared with a whoosh. Let's go. When they reached the entrance of the underground parking lot, the 5 people rushed in like a hot knife through butter. Although there were dozens of people intercepting them along the way, a group of Nebula Galaxy-grade cultivators was really not enough in front of Wang Lan's high-quality team. The main force of the Duanmu family had all gone to the central battlefield, which made it seem as if the Duanmu family was not as strong as they had imagined. The small team of 5 actually killed everything that stood in their way. In less than 10 minutes, the 5 people killed their way to the second floor of the underground parking lot. At this moment, the heavy iron door was already closed. However, this thing could only block ordinary people. Even a star-blazing Takashi Hoshi would not be able to block it. Wang Lan slashed down with his sword, and a circle with a diameter of 3 meters was drawn on the iron door. Then, Wang Lan kicked it open with his sword, and the 5 people entered the garage unimpeded. What they saw were pairs of frightened eyes. Many women and old people were holding children in their arms and looking at them in horror. This scene caused Wang Lan's 3 subordinates to be at a loss for what to do. They clearly represented justice. Why did it seem like they were a murderous demon in their eyes? We are special agents of the Heavenly Sword Bureau of Shanghai. We were ordered to protect the families and children of the ordinary Takashi Hoshi from the Duanmu family. Your situation is very dangerous, so please cooperate with us. If you cooperate, we will not hurt any of you. Remember, we represent the country, not bandits, executioners, murderous demons. The children may not understand, but you should be able to. Now, everyone, line up and follow me. Wang Lan's voice was like a breeze that entered everyone's ears. Sir! Suddenly, a young girl stood up and shouted, I want to know what crime the Duanmu family committed that you have to mobilize such a large force to capture them. The Duanmu family has violated a very serious law, and the evidence is conclusive. Moreover, many people participated in the operation. Even some of you may have participated. But don't worry, we've convicted everyone based on solid evidence. If they did not do anything illegal, you don't have to worry. In the end, the young girl did not hear Wang Lan say what crime the Duanmu family committed. But she did not continue asking. They knew the Heavenly Sword Bureau's way of doing things. The confidentiality rules were very strict. Although many children were crying, the adults were still cooperative. Moreover, the Duanmu family ordered them to stay in the underground shelter and not let them leave. This dangerous place gave them a bad feeling. Perhaps the Duanmu family would turn them into hostages in the end. After all, this was not uncommon. Many women who married Takashi Hoshi had heard of it. There were about 500 women and children in the underground parking lot. Wang Lan led in the front, Yang Yang was in the back, and Lui Feng and the other two watched in the middle. The 500 people walked out of the underground parking lot and walked towards the sealed door not far away. After walking for about 200 meters, Wang Lan suddenly stopped. Dozens of people suddenly appeared from the flower beds around them. They did not speak, but suddenly raised their guns and opened fire at the crowd. Defense! Wang Lan roared. Zhang Xiao and Bai Su quickly moved. Vacuum pressure. Earth flow wall. Boom, boom, boom. There was a violent explosion, and the children who were protected in the middle started crying again. The women who were carrying the children had complicated expressions on their faces. Many of the girls had tears in their eyes. Although they had never seen the group of people who suddenly appeared, they were definitely from the Duanmu family. But what did they do? They didn't even say a single word. They just fired at him. Other than the Duanmu family, how many of these women were normal people? Probably not even 1/10 of them. In the Takashi Hoshi world, those who got married and had children were mostly Takashi Hoshi. Chapter 326. Why did the family? A woman suddenly covered her face and started crying. What did we do wrong? Why is the family doing this to us? What else can they do? Kill us and force the Heavenly Sword Bureau to stop their operations, then use the pressure of public opinion to attack us. We're also from the Duanmu family. Indeed, the Duanmu family was dependent on Takashi Hoshi, and the wives of those Takashi Hoshi were also Takashi Hoshi. But there were still some people in the Duanmu family who couldn't awaken the Takashi Hoshi talent. Although these people were normal people without the Takashi Hoshi talent, the blood of the Duanmu family still flowed in their veins. They didn't expect the family to be so cruel as to use their lives to force the Heavenly Sword Bureau to compromise. Captain, we can't hold on anymore, Bai Su called out with a pale face. We have to hold on even if we can't. Wang Lan had already used Omniscient Nature, but Omniscient Nature wasn't a defensive Takashi Hoshi skill. It could defend for a while, but it couldn't withstand the attacks of dozens of people. Because the 5 of them had to protect 500 people, their mobility was greatly limited. Omniscient Nature covered a range of 300 meters, but the outer wall wasn't strong enough to cover 500 people. What was even more hateful was that the Duanmu family used firearms to attack. This wasn't an alternate dimension where firearms could be used. Firearms were no less lethal than Takashi Hoshi skills in the outside world, especially grenades that were easy to make but powerful. Omniscient Nature couldn't absorb astral power to replenish itself, so it naturally needed Wang Lan's astral power to maintain it. But a Takashi Hoshi skill with a range of 300 meters consumed a terrifying amount of astral power. If Wang Lan hadn't hidden more than 10 mid-grade soul orbs, he would have been in danger right now. Sisters, they want to kill us. We can't just stand there and let them kill us. Our men have risked their lives for the Duanmu family. We can't let them kill us when we've outlived our usefulness. Defense-type Takashi Hoshi, gather at the periphery. We need to save ourselves. A voice rang out from the crowd. Suddenly, the star power in the protective shield surged, and dozens of defensive Takashi Hoshi cast defensive Takashi Hoshi skills. Although their Takashi Hoshi's level wasn't high, he had relieved a lot of pressure off Wang Lan and the others. Motherf *Ker, do you think you're the only ones with grenades? During a gap, Wang Lan suddenly remembered that there were a few S-grade soul bead grenades lying in his spatial equipment. Originally, he thought that he would never need to use it. Now was a good time. He had to maintain the defense of omniscient manifestation, so he couldn't use other Takashi Hoshi skills. He took out the wind snare soul gathering grenade and controlled the vines to send it into the enemy's camp. That was where the most grenades were thrown and where the firepower was the fiercest. Boom! With a soft sound, a middle-grade soul bead rolled into the middle of the crowd. The men of sacrifice who were firing like crazy merely lowered their heads and glanced at it, then turned their heads away emotionlessly. Throwing a middle-grade soul bead at us, are you trying to bribe us? Haha! As men of sacrifice trained by the Duanmu family, we have professional integrity. You want us to betray our integrity with a mere middle-grade soul bead? Suddenly, the middle-grade soul bead flashed with waves of star power. In an instant, terrifying wind blades spread out with the soul bead as the center, expanding to a range of 50 meters in an instant, forming a network of wind blades. The 40 men of sacrifice within 50 meters didn't even realize what was happening before they were cut into pieces and died. The firepower stopped abruptly, not only in the camp swallowed by the wind blades, but also in the small camp not far away. The men of sacrifice were stupefied by the scene in front of them. Their minds went blank. Who am I? Where am I? What should I do? Suddenly, a stream of light flashed. A rain of light scattered like a curtain in the sky. They didn't need to think about the 3 consecutive answers. Wang Lan's sword had cut through their necks. Wang Lan wouldn't show any mercy to this kind of trash who could kill ordinary people and their own families. After killing this group of men of sacrifice, the crisis was finally over. Nothing happened in the remaining 200 meters. Wang Lan broke the electromagnetic protection net at the north gate and successfully sent the 500 women and children out. Outside, there were people from the Heavenly Sword Bureau and the superintendent waiting to receive them. They would be taken into the Heavenly Sword Bureau for quarantine and investigation. Liaison Team 12 has completed the mission. Requesting further instructions. Captain Wang, the Duanmu family is crazily hunting down the women and children. Team 7 is requesting backup. The coordinates are. After receiving the order, Wang Lan hurried over with his team. The main forces and subordinates of the Duanmu family were fighting desperately with the experts of the Heavenly Sword Bureau and the Yu family at the center of the battlefield, 1 kilometer away. Their families were crazily being hunted down by the men of sacrifice of the Duanmu family. Such a scene was ironic just thinking about it, let alone talking about it. The people you were working for were killing your wives and children, while the people you were fighting for were trying to save your families. However, such things couldn't be explained on the battlefield. Even if you said it, no one would believe you. The truth could only be revealed after the battle. By the time he arrived at the 7th Squad, they were already struggling to maintain the barrier and move. The opponents were all holding modern firearms, and their shooting range was more than 500 meters. Takashi Hoshi's attack range was usually less than 100 meters. Even Star Sea Realm experts wouldn't have an attack range of more than 200 meters. Normally, modern firearms wouldn't even be able to touch a Star Sea Realm expert. However, in order to protect these hundreds of ordinary children and the weak, they could only use the defensive barrier to withstand the rain of bullets. Was it frustrating? Very frustrating. These 5-star Sea Realm experts of the Yu family had never fought such a frustrating battle in their lives. But so what if they were frustrated? They could only endure it. Suddenly, the dense gunfire in the distance paused for a moment. "Our reinforcements have arrived," a woman with a cold expression said indifferently. "So fast." Although he said that he was doubtful, he understood clearly. The gunshots stopped. Like a flame being extinguished by water, they were extinguished in an instant. Occasionally there would be a few gunshots, but after a few gunshots, everything returned to normal. "Captain, I'm done here." "I'm done here too. Let's go to the next place." The Duanmu family had placed the thousands of people who had no combat ability in different places so that they could be used as hostages when necessary. The Duanmu family knew this, as did the Heavenly Sword Bureau and the Yu family. Rather than saying that there was an intense battle in the front, it was more accurate to say that their soldiers were trying to buy time for the innocents to retreat. The Duanmu family definitely knew this as well, which was why they sent men of sacrifice to stop them and even kill them. In a short half an hour, Wang Lan had provided support to several battlefields. However, he didn't succeed in all of them. There were still mistakes in the defense of 2 places, resulting in more than 100 deaths from machine gun fire. In terms of reaping lives, machine guns were more lethal than Takashi Hoshi's. With 30 bullets per second and dozens of machine guns firing at the same time, it would only take a few seconds to kill a few hundred people. In the end, out of the 5,000 people who managed to evacuate, 4,600 people died to guns. These people were instigated by the Duanmu family to become tools for the final struggle. Heavenly Sword Bureau, you didn't even let the defenseless women and children go. Everyone, look, the Heavenly Sword Bureau is trying to kill us all. Let's fight it out with them. The projection in the sky showed piles of corpses on the ground. Blood flowed like a river. This scene made the Takashi Hoshi subordinates of the Duanmu family, who were slightly shaken, instantly turn red. "Bullsh***, you killed them yourselves. Hee. You bastards, after killing people, you want us to never be reincarnated. The leaders we've placed in the sanctuary are all direct bloodline members of the Duanmu family. You all know that we kill our own people? Do you think we would kill our own brothers and sisters? Warriors of the Duanmu family, kill. Kill 1 to recoup your losses, kill 2 to make a profit." A group of Takashi Hoshi from the Duanmu family of Nebula launched a suicidal attack against the Star Sea Realm Takashi Hoshi from the Yu family and the Heavenly Sword Bureau. In an instant, astral power swept across the land like a tsunami. "Kill. We've already tried our best to be merciful. Since you don't know what's good for you, we can only." A Star Sea Realm cultivator from the Yu family shouted coldly. "No need to be merciful, kill." Bureau Chief Wang Lan and Yang Yang appeared beside Qing Jianlong. Around them were the various department heads of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. "Why are you here?" "Your mission was to escort the innocent people out." "The mission has been completed." "Completed? Even if it was completed, you shouldn't have come. Forget it, be careful. Take care of yourself when you encounter a situation." Sure enough, the worst situation has happened. As soon as he finished speaking, Qing Jianlong led a group of Heavenly Sword Bureau experts and charged toward the opposite battlefield. On the battlefield, the ratio of peak experts was about the same. The Heavenly Sword Bureau even had an additional titled expert. What did a titled expert mean? Although they were all Star Sea Realm cultivators, a titled expert could single-handedly change the situation of a battle. They could single-handedly kill a team of Star Sea Realm cultivators. However, because the Duanmu family had released their contracted exotic beast, the balance of peak combat power had been shaken again. In a one-on-one fight, a Star Sea Realm exotic beast would definitely not be a match for a Star Sea Realm Takashi Hoshi. It was like comparing speed between a sports car and a large truck. No matter how strong or powerful the other party was not as light or agile as the other party. The other party could easily shake the other party off. However, on such a battlefield, the exotic beast's weakness was made up for by the Takashi Hoshi experts, and the exotic beast's advantage could be maximized. Exotic beasts had a natural advantage in terms of astral energy. Moreover, a star sea realm exotic beast's damage output was extremely terrifying. Terrifying Takashi Hoshi skills were released one after another. They might be sure kill skills for a star sea realm Takashi Hoshi, but for the exotic beasts they were A-grade skills at most. The exotic beasts attacked crazily. The Heavenly Sword Bureau's side had no choice but to dodge the Takashi Hoshi's attacks while also defending against the exotic beast's terrifying attack. The battlefield instantly erupted. Wang Lan looked at the huge exotic beasts wreaking havoc and suddenly had an idea. Dragon and Phoenix bring prosperity, open. In an instant, a phoenix tail flower appeared between Wang Lan's eyebrows. At the same time, two cute little horns grew out of Wang Lan's forehead. A dragon's roar rang out. In an instant, Wang Lan's figure appeared in front of the exotic beasts. Boundless Nature. Chapter 327. Under the dragon and phoenix form, Wang Lan's strength could directly soar to the early stage of the Star Sea Realm. Under the early stage of the Star Sea Realm, the speed of the omniscient nature instantly increased. Almost in a breath's time, countless vines wrapped around the huge beast like a spider web. As the vines spread rapidly, they quickly formed a forest of vines. The people of the Duanmu clan were a group of frightened birds at the moment. Because of fear, they became manic, violent, and aggressive. But the fundamental reason was still fear. Wang Lan's omniscient nature activated, as if pushing down a domino. Fear spread in an instant. The Azure Emperor is here? The Azure Emperor. It's over. It's over. It's the Azure Emperor. The Azure Emperor is here. It's over, we're dead meat. I heard the Azure Emperor has been in Shanghai. He's not the Azure Emperor, you idiots. This is the omniscient nature, not the world of trees. Noises kept ringing out. Many Star Sea Realm experts even exposed flaws in their distraction and were killed by the experts of the Yu clan in one move. To deal with such a terrifying beast with endless astral power, only the Takashi Hoshi technique of the same size could contend with it. The wood-type Takashi Hoshi technique was naturally effective against huge beasts, so when the omniscient nature was successfully activated and wrapped around the beast, the effect was immediate. The beast howled at the sky, trying to break free from the omniscient nature. But the omniscient nature kept growing. As the astral power was absorbed, the vines grew crazily. Every vine was as flexible as Wang Lan's fingers. In Wang Lan's perception, he seemed to have turned into this forest of vines. Boom! The beast was furious. It suddenly spat out a mouthful of flames. The flames instantly shattered the vines around it and pushed forward. But the huge fireball with a diameter of dozens of meters shrank rapidly as it flew. It only pushed forward for less than 200 meters before it disappeared. However, those vines were still growing at a crazy rate. In the blink of an eye, they had once again subdued the exotic beast. No matter how it struggled, even if it tore off one vine, there were still thousands of them. The exotic beast, which had never experienced exhaustion before, was gradually drained of its astral energy. At this moment, the Duanmu clan was in a state of panic. Originally, the battle situation was not good for them. They were waiting for the Duanmu family's public relations, waiting for that ray of hope. As the head of the top Takashi Hoshi family, the Duanmu family naturally had a set of emergency response mechanisms. As long as the waters were muddied, as long as the nation was in an uproar, as long as public opinion was manipulated to make the country feel pressured, as long as the Heavenly Sword Bureau and the Yu family stopped their actions. As long as the Duanmu clan was given a day to catch their breath, the Duanmu clan would have a way to turn from being passive to taking the initiative. The Heavenly Sword Bureau and the Yu family had to settle this quickly before the orders came down. On the other hand, the Duanmu clan had to stall for as long as possible, and then try to put themselves in the position of the weaker party to win the sympathy of the whole nation and even the whole world. In the current era, It was not as easy to wipe out a family or wipe out a Takashi Hoshi family in one fell swoop. In the era of the imperial dynasty, it was nothing more than an order from the emperor to wipe out the entire family. However, in the current era, the battlefield was divided into different dimensions, and the way of planning was even more complicated and unpredictable. The Duanmu clan's weapon to stall for time was this exotic beast with unlimited firepower. With it around, even if the Heavenly Sword Bureau and the Yu family joined forces and were slightly stronger than the Duanmu clan would not be intimidated. However, with the exotic beast restrained, the balance that they had barely maintained would be broken instantly. The Heavenly Sword Bureau and the Yu family's general attack began. B***** Go to Hell, a titled powerful warrior of the Duanmu clan suddenly forced Qing Jianlong away with a move. With a flash, he disappeared into Wang Lan's nature manifestation. Oh no, Wang Lan, be careful. There was no need for Qing Jianlong to remind him. Wang Lan had noticed the moment the man appeared in the nature manifestation. He controlled the vines to block the man quickly, but the man was a titled powerful warrior. The vines could not catch up with him at all. Even if he used the blocking tactic, the man could break through it in an instant. Almost in the blink of an eye, the man rushed to Wang Lan. Go to hell! The punch carried a shocking power. Before the punch arrived, the ground around Wang Lan was already surging with horrifying lava. Every move of a titled powerful warrior could trigger the collision of astral powers and cause damage within a certain range. Without thinking, Wang Lan mobilized all the astral powers in his body and punched the man. Dragon Emperor form? The man was stunned when he saw the dragon horns on Wang Lan's forehead. But it was only for a moment. His attack was not slow at all. As long as Wang Lan was not Emperor Qing, everything was fine. Kanglin, Wang Lan perfectly combined the power of inch punch and astral powers. In addition to the horrifying power of the Dragon Emperor form, he launched the strongest punch in history. Boom! The two fists collided. A horrifying blast of air swept out. The surrounding vines were quickly destroyed as if they were cut by space. A vacuum of 100 meters was created around the two of them. Boom! Wang Lan's body flew backward and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Even though he had the combat strength of a Star Sea Realm warrior, he was still a far cry from a titled powerful warrior. The moment he flew backward, the life hymn automatically activated and quickly healed his injuries. Wang Lan had just landed when the other party's titled powerful warrior leaped forward. A horrifying punch came with the force of a thunderbolt. Suddenly, Wang Lan felt a figure appear behind him. Before Wang Lan could turn around, a familiar voice rang in his ears. Young man, not bad. This old man is finally here. Boom! The titled powerful warrior's punch landed, but it stopped less than a foot away from Yu Qing's face. Amidst the distortion of the fist force, an electromagnetic shield-like protective cover blocked this earth-shattering punch. In fact, Emperor Qing's body did not even sway. This is... Wang Lan's pupils contracted violently. This shield was somewhat familiar. You are... The titled powerful warrior's expression changed. Emperor Qing? Boom! There was a violent explosion. The titled powerful warrior did not even have time to react before he was sent flying backward. Emperor Qing took a step forward slowly, but he was already 100 meters away. Watching Emperor Qing leave, Wang Lan felt that it was extremely unreal. It was as if two different movies had merged. The Heavenly Sword Bureau and the Duanmu family's experts were in a stalemate. However, Emperor Qing intervened as if he was just a passerby. With his intervention, the Duanmu family's experts who were fighting around all screamed and were sent flying backward. Emperor Qing's afterimage passed through the battlefield like the wind. Whether it was Xing He, Xing Hai, or the titled powerful warriors of the Duanmu family, they were all sent flying backward and then fell to the ground. From the beginning to the end, Emperor Qing seemed to be so slow. From the beginning to the end, Emperor Qing seemed to have never made a move. Everyone below the 5 emperors was a nonentity. So, this was what it was like? Take them down! At Cheng Jianlong's order, Ming Yi and the others instantly swarmed forward and subdued all the titled powerful warriors of the Duanmu family. Just now, it was still a stalemate, but in the blink of an eye, the dust had settled. Bang! With a loud noise, Duanmu Qingsong's room was kicked open. Sitting behind the desk, Duanmu Qingsong suddenly raised his head. Duanmu Qingsong, you are under arrest. Cheng Jianlong. I didn't expect that one day, a small director of the Heavenly Sword Bureau could swagger into my study. Arrested? The patriarch of the Duanmu family will not be arrested. You are still resisting stubbornly. Suddenly, flames burst out from Duanmu Qingsong's body. The purple flames instantly swallowed Duanmu Qingsong. Water break, water spout. Wang Lan and Ming Yi activated the water-type Takashi Hoshi technique at the same time and rushed toward Duanmu Qingsong. The fire was extinguished, but Duanmu Qingsong had already died on the spot. Alas! A hero of a generation ending like this. Looking at Duanmu Qingsong, who had committed suicide, Cheng Jianlong lamented. Director, the problem now is, Duanmu Qingsong is dead. How are we going to investigate the mastermind behind the scenes? Ming Ye's words made Cheng Jianlong's expression change. Looking at the charred body in front of him, Cheng Jianlong stepped to Duanmu Qingsong's side. F***ck, wake up. You can't F***king die. Wang Lan, quick, help. Director, are you serious? You're already familiar with him. Wang Lan sighed speechlessly. He really didn't expect Director Cheng to have such a funny side. Although the battle had ended, the dust had not settled completely. The rumors spread by the Duanmu family and the public criticism were enough to keep the Heavenly Sword Bureau busy for a long time. In addition, they had to screen the innocent people of the Duanmu family. However, all of this had nothing to do with Wang Lan. Wang Lan's mission had been completed. Or rather, his mission had been completed when he caught Wei Zheng. After returning to the dormitory, Wang Lan applied for a few days of leave from the school. The school might have known about Wang Lan's actions this week, so they didn't ask any questions and simply approved his leave. Other than successfully solving Wei Zheng's case and being rewarded with 20,000 experience points and 3,000 skill points, the Duanmu family case didn't give him any experience points or skill points. Moreover, the Duanmu family had been destroyed, but Ma Chuchu's mission was still not completed. At this moment, Wang Lan wanted to imitate Jianlong and grab Ma Chuchu's urn and ask, "What the F***ck do you want me to do? I've already destroyed the Duanmu family. What are you still not satisfied with?" Unfortunately, he could only imagine these scenes in his mind. 3 days passed, and the Duanmu family's execution came to an end. Because of Duanmu Qingsong's death, the follow-up investigation had to stop abruptly. The rest of the Duanmu family couldn't be convicted because of a lack of evidence. However, they couldn't run away from the law enforcement. The results of the execution were out. The Duanmu family's title as Takashi Hoshi family was revoked, and all of their assets were confiscated. The Duanmu family's main leaders were sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison for resisting the law enforcement. All of the Duanmu family's descendants were released through education. As for the Takashi Hoshi who were attached to the Duanmu family, their contracts were terminated unconditionally. Then, the country arranged for them to be scattered to the 5 major wastelands. Compared to the dynasty era where families were exterminated at every turn, the current era was much better. However, to the other Takashi Hoshi families in Magic City, it was more or less a tragedy. The huge Duanmu family was gone overnight. Chapter 328. Ding dong, his phone rang. Wang Lan sat up from his bed and glanced at his phone. It was from the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Wang Lan had asked the Heavenly Sword Bureau to investigate Mu Fenghua's information. Mu Fenghua, born in 1997, 22 years old, a senior at Cebu Gakuen in Shanghai. Last year, she was chosen as a disciple by Nangong Meng. Her name was Mu Fonghua, but she was actually Duanmu Qingsong's illegitimate child. Her mother, Mu Qiaoli, fell in love at first sight with Duanmu Qingsong, who was 32 years old at the time, 20 years ago. Mu Qiaoli was also a talented Takashi Hoshi. She graduated from Cebu Gakuen in Zhezhou and was already at the midstage of Galaxy. 3 years as a professional Takashi Hoshi made her quite famous. Originally, with Mu Qiaoli's strength and reputation, marrying Duanmu Qingsong was considered suitable. But back then, Duanmu Qingsong wanted to fight for the position of clan leader. In order to have enough bargaining chips, he married a woman from the Liu family, who was also a top Takashi Hoshi family. Mu Qiaoli left with Mu Fonghua in dismay. But 10 years after giving birth to Mu Fonghua, she met with an accident. Her legs were seriously injured, and even the medical Takashi Hoshi couldn't treat them. After the Heavenly Sword Bureau's investigation, Mu Qiaoli's accident was likely related to the Liu family. After that, Mu Qiaoli and the Duanmu family cut off all contact. From the information, this was indeed the case. The other information was related to Mu Qiaoli's assets from the Heavenly Sword Bureau's investigation. Among them, Mu Qiaoli had a bank account with 1 billion in it. But Mu Qiaoli had never used this account. The account was opened 12 years ago when Mu Qiaoli was injured. Maybe Duanmu Qingsong wanted to make it up to her, or maybe the Liu family wanted to make it up to her. But it seemed that even Mu Qiaoli didn't know about this money. It had been 12 years, and she hadn't touched it once. Duanmu Fonghua must hate the Duanmu family. Then it's reasonable for her to push Duanmu Yi. Is it really a coincidence that Duanmu Yi lived in Jinghua district longer than Bai Ji? Wang Lan muttered to himself. On the internet, the Yu family also started to exert their strength. Why did he take action against the Duanmu clan? The Duanmu family was related to the assassination of Princess Yu. As for how they were related, they didn't explain in detail. Moreover, new evidence was constantly being posted on the internet. The Duanmu family was engaged in the business of spatial stones, soul orbs, illegal business, commercial crimes, and smuggling. With this piece of evidence, those who sympathized with the Duanmu family also began to switch sides and condemn the Duanmu family. However, the most important topic was whether or not the Heavenly Sword Bureau had killed the old, weak women and children of the Duanmu family, and whether or not they had attempted to massacre the entire Duanmu family. In fact, there were many doubts about this topic from the very beginning. Times have changed, and the citizens' recognition of the government is very high. Jade State had a complete legal system. Even in the world of Takashi Hoshi, it was impossible for an entire family to be executed. This was especially so when the Duanmu family released the video of the innocent family members being killed. Even if there were pictures to prove the truth, they were still criticized by many people. Could you be more exaggerated? Even the execution of the entire family was used? However, there were always some brainless people in the world. In addition, the Heavenly Sword Bureau was mysterious and terrifying. They had also colluded with the relevant departments to create such a sinister department like the Discipline Commission and the Imperial Secret Service. For such a vicious and merciless department, it was reasonable for them to do anything. However, these doubts were completely destroyed after the Heavenly Sword Bureau released another video. The Heavenly Sword Bureau activated a barrier to protect the innocent family members of the Duanmu family as they evacuated. On the periphery, there were concentrated firepower shooting at them. When the Heavenly Sword Bureau and the Yu family attacked, they never brought any firearms. However, the men of sacrifice of the Duanmu family actually killed their own family members. Were they still human? They were worse than beasts. After that, some Takashi Hoshi subordinates of the Duanmu family were released to accuse the Heavenly Sword Bureau. In just one night, the public opinion changed. The Duanmu family was completely smacked on the pillar of shame and could not recover. The Yu family was even more ruthless. They pinned the blame on the Duanmu family for things that were not done by them. They even pinned some groundless crimes on the Duanmu family. This time, the Duanmu family fell into the abyss and could not rise again. The Duanmu family wanted to say that they did not do it. They did not do it. You can argue all you want. If I believe a single word of yours, consider it my loss. The intense battle of public opinion ended in 3 days. The Duanmu family was the first to strike, and they were instantly defeated and sent to hell. However, even after everything had been settled, the system still did not notify them of any rewards or skill point. This caused Wang Lan's relaxed brows to unconsciously furrow. Could it be that the matter with the Duanmu family was not over? That was impossible. Duanmu Qingtsang had already burned himself to death. The Duanmu family had also been wiped out. Even the matter of the Duanmu family secretly selling spatial stones had been investigated. What was there that was not done? In the system's mission, the 2 incomplete missions were like a thorn in their throat. The intense hot topic came to an end quietly after a few days. Originally, the Yu family wanted to continue their victorious pursuit. It would be best if they could beat the Duanmu family to the pillar of shame and never recover. However, for the sake of international influence and the reputation of the Jade State, the country vigorously suppressed the topic of the Duanmu family. Another 3 days passed quietly. As usual, Wang Lan edited the Takashi Hoshi toxin vaccine in the morning and produced the Soul Grenade in the afternoon. The independent production line of the Jiai Biotechnology Company was also in place. The first batch of Takashi Hoshi toxin vaccine had also begun production. This would bring considerable profits to the Jade State, Guangxi, and Shanghai Cebu Gakuen. Wang Lan. Just as the medical department was leading the team to develop the Takashi Hoshi toxin vaccine, his phone suddenly rang. Student Xiao AI, what's wrong? Previously, you asked me to monitor Madame Mu's every move. Just now, Madame Mu's 1 billion funds were transferred overseas. Wang Lan finally stopped what he was doing. He stood up and went to his independent office. The country of ice and snow. It's a small country located in the Arctic Circle. It's a small island country. The island is located in an active volcanic area. Therefore, although the surrounding temperature is extremely low and the island is covered in ice and snow all year round, it still has a considerable land area. It's like spring all year round. The country of ice and snow is rich in energy ores. Originally, it also had various calcium, phosphorus, and potassium resources. However, due to the opening of the alternate dimension in the country of ice and snow, and the fact that most of the exotic beasts in the alternate dimension are poisonous, the country of ice and snow has been in an abyss of suffering since 10 years ago. Wang Lan occasionally saw news about the country of ice and snow. Compared to the rotten situation in the Middle East, the country of ice and snow seemed so obscure. However, from these sporadic news, it could be seen that the country of ice and snow was in a worse situation than the small countries in the Middle East. The Jade State had the magnanimity and responsibility of a big country. Every year, it would provide aid to the country of ice and snow, but the aid was basically a drop in the bucket. Would Madame Mu transfer 1 billion to the country of ice and snow? Not to mention that Wang Lan would be puzzled. Even if he cracked his head, he wouldn't be able to think of it. Wang Lan tapped his fingers on the table and fell into deep thought. After a long time, Wang Lan's face suddenly changed. He stood up abruptly and said, "I understand." Wang Lan quickly left the school and rode to the Heavenly Sword Bureau. The investigation of the mastermind behind Yu Ruoyun's assassination was also successfully closed because of the Duanmu family's business of selling spatial stones. Although it was still impossible to prove that the spatial stones in Death Valley came from the Duanmu family, it was also impossible to find out who set up this shocking killing trap from the Duanmu family. After all, Duanmu Qingsang was already dead. However, since there was someone to take the blame, the higher-ups weren't willing to spend too much effort on the investigation. Therefore, it was also good to close the case with the Duanmu family. This time, when he came to the Heavenly Sword Bureau, the colleagues of the Heavenly Sword Bureau were not as busy as last time. When Wang Lan arrived, many colleagues greeted Wang Lan warmly. Wang Lan's team had already been separated from Yang Yang's team. After all, it was a temporary team. Wang Lan didn't think that a lieutenant colonel would really be a major's subordinate. In terms of rank configuration, the grade of an independent team was not inferior to that of an action brigade. He knocked on the door of Ming Ye's office. Ming Ye and the head of the intelligence department were bragging in the office. The two of them were smiling so much that their faces were full of wrinkles. Reporting. Wang Lan? What wind blew you here? I remember that today isn't the weekend, right? Yes, Uncle Ming. I suspect that Duanmu Qingsang is not dead. Wang Lan didn't beat around the bush and went straight to the point. As soon as these words came out, the smiles on the faces of the two people in the office instantly disappeared. Wang Lan, what did you say? Duanmu Qingsang is not dead? That's impossible. Weren't you also there when Duanmu Qingsang self-immolated? Did the Bureau do a DNA comparison on Duanmu Qingsang's body? No. After all, so many people saw Duanmu Qingsang and burned himself to death in public. Uncle Ming, since the Duanmu family has 300 men of sacrifice, can't Duanmu Qingsang have a stand-in? Wang Lan's words immediately made Ming Ye's expression change. They actually didn't think of this problem. Back then, they only saw Duanmu Qingsang in the office, and then burned himself to death in front of their eyes. In addition, the people of the Duanmu family had been captured and punished. They really didn't think in that direction. However, it was reasonable to say that Duanmu Qingsang had a stand-in. Wang Lan, how did you know? The system told me. However, Wang Lan couldn't say this. Uncle Ming, do you still remember that I asked you to help investigate Duanmu Fanghua? I saw the results of the investigation. On the surface, Duanmu Fanghua and the Duanmu family have nothing to do with each other. Even if they do, they are enemies. However, from what I know, Duanmu Fanghua isn't as strong as his mother. Although his name is Mu Fanghua, he has referred to himself as Duanmu Fanghua many times in school. Moreover, he doesn't reject others calling him Duanmu Fanghua at all. Also, I have been secretly observing Mu Qiaoli's intelligence and found that she has 1 billion under her name. Actually, I saw this too. This is the compensation the Duanmu family gave Mu Qiaoli 12 years ago, and some is the Lu family's atonement. But just now, this 1 billion worth of money went to the country of ice. Ming Yi frowned slightly. This money is Mu Qiaoli's private property. Where she moves the money to is her freedom, right? Exotic beasts wreak havoc in the country of ice. Compared to the countries in the Middle East, most of the exotic beasts in the country of ice are poison-type. Is moving the money to the country of ice aiding the poor? Anyone with a brain wouldn't throw money to a place where the safety of property is extremely threatened, right? Chapter 329. You suspect. First, I suspect that Duanmu Qingsang is not dead. Duanmu Qingsang is not the kind of person who would fight to the death. Uncle Ming, did you notice that although the Duanmu family was destroyed, Lu Fengqi was not affected? She was protected by the Lu family and seemed to have brought a lot of money back to the Lu family. That day, Duanmu Qingsang burned himself. Since he knew that he would die, why did he do that? Second, Mu Qiaoli and Duanmu Qingsang have not been in contact for more than 20 years. Everyone may know about the 1 billion fund, but not Mu Qiaoli. And in this sensitive period, the 1 billion fund that has not been used for 12 years suddenly came to the country of ice. Don't you think it is a coincidence? You mean, Duanmu Qingsang has arrived in the country of ice? It's possible. Impossible, Ming Yi said flatly, The country of ice has almost been abandoned by the whole world. There are only 3 countries in the world that keep in touch with the country of ice. Moreover, the border checkpoints have been increased recently. It is not so easy for Duanmu Qingsang to leave the Jade State, and it is not so easy for him to reach the country of ice. With Duanmu Qingsang's identity and strength, it is not difficult for him to leave the Jade State without being noticed. Wang Lan said in a deep voice, "When I was still in Sioux City, my boss, Wang Qianfeng, once told me not to try to stop the infiltration of the demon's spies. No matter how tight your defenses are, they will always find a way to successfully infiltrate. If they can't, they don't deserve to be spies lurking among us. Similarly, no matter how strict my border checkpoints are, don't expect to stop people like Duanmu Qingsang. If they can stop him, he is not Duanmu Qingsang." "Well, I'll call the embassy of the country of ice." Ming Yi immediately picked up the phone, found the number of the embassy in the country of ice from the intelligence network, and dialed it. "Hello, I'm from the Action Department of the Heavenly Sword Bureau in Shanghai, Jade State. I'd like to inquire about something. Today, 1 billion yuan was transferred from Shanghai to the country of ice. Please help me find out the identity of the recipient. Also, please help me check if there are any Jade State people or Oriental people among the foreigners who have come to the land of ice in the past week. Thank you." After waiting patiently for less than half an hour, the other party called back. "Hello, Senior Colonel Ming. The investigation results of the 1 billion yuan remittance have come out. The recipient is a person named Yi Xianxian, but there is no Yi Xianxian among the ice-snow countries Yu Qiao registered in the embassy. This account had only been registered last year. Secondly, the situation in the country of ice and snow was like this. It had been almost a month since anyone entered the country. We don't have any planes, passengers, or cruise ships." "Okay, thank you," Ming Yi said as he looked at Wang Lan and gave her a look. "Wait, hello Ambassador, do you have any plans to go to the country of ice recently? Including international ones?" "Yes, the country of ice and snow has been continuously requesting assistance from the United Nations since the beginning of this year. The Jade State has accepted their assistance invitation. Tomorrow morning, there will be a group of aid expedition team coming to the country of ice and snow for inspection. By the way, this expedition team seems to be formed by your Shanghai Cebu Gakuen. They will arrive in the country of ice and snow tomorrow morning? Then when will they depart? According to the domestic time, it should be this afternoon." Wang Lan quickly took out his mobile phone and flipped through the school's information. Sure enough, he soon found the notice of the school's expedition to the country of ice and snow. In the past 15 years, the country of ice and snow was almost destroyed by exotic beasts. Because the exotic beasts in the country of ice and snow were all poisonous exotic beasts, they posed a great threat to the Takashi Hoshi of various countries. Few countries were willing to take such a big risk to help them. If it weren't for Shanghai Cebu Gakuen's development of the Takashi Hoshi vaccine technology, the Jade State wouldn't have arranged for an expedition team to go. The expedition team this time was led by Shanghai Cebu Gakuen's vice president, Nangong Meng. Their main purpose was to investigate the situation in the country of ice and snow, the types of poisonous exotic beasts, and try their best to bring back samples of Takashi Hoshi's poison and produce a vaccine as support. In any case, from the school's announcement, this expedition was in the spirit of internationalism, selflessly assisting the weak country of ice and snow. However, all of this happened at this time, giving Wang Lan a comprehensive plan. As the saying goes, before the troops and horses move, the provisions move first. Therefore, Mu Qiaoli's 1 billion yuan fund went to the country of ice and snow first. I suspect that Duanmu Qingsang is hiding in this expedition team. After analyzing to this point, how could Ming Yi not understand? He quickly stood up and called Shanghai Airport. "Hello, is this Shanghai Qiaohong Airport? I'm the Heavenly Sword Bureau's Operations Division Chief, Ming Yi. May I ask if the special plane from Shanghai Cebu Gakuen to the country of ice and snow has taken off? 2 more hours? That's great. Please cooperate with us. The special plane can't take off before we arrive. At the same time, you can't disclose information about the Heavenly Sword Bureau's involvement to prevent alerting the enemy. You should understand this kind of thing. Okay, sorry for the trouble. After hanging up the phone, Ming Yi looked a little excited. Maybe we can catch a big fish. Old Ming, why don't you give this mission to our intelligence department? Recently, the operations division has been working very hard. Seeing the brothers busy themselves, I don't feel good in my heart. How about this? I'll go on your behalf this time. Don't thank me. We're all comrades, so it's only right. Thank your granny, my foot. Old Chen, I never thought that you could be so shameless. How is this shameless? I just saw that the operations division has been working so hard recently, so we should rest well. Anyway, the intelligence department has been conserving our energy and resting. Don't look down on us. Our brothers told me that they're working hard. Our operations division's ideological awareness has always been top-notch. Our motto is, as long as we don't die from exhaustion, we'll work ourselves to death. Wang Lan, don't bother with that shameless guy. Let's go. Wang Lan nodded and followed Ming Yi out of the office. Operations Division 1, assemble. Independent Operations Team A, Team S, assemble. In less than 5 minutes, the 100-man Operations Division and 2 independent operations teams assembled at the assembly point. Yang looked at Wang Lan, who was beside Ming Yi, and smacked his lips. I think the captain made a big discovery this time. Why doesn't he know how to stop? He just destroyed the Duanmu family. Why doesn't he know how to stop? Captain Yang, you're really used to calling me that. Have you forgotten that you're the captain? 5 off-road vehicles and 2 transport vehicles left the Heavenly Sword Bureau in a grandiose manner and rushed to Qiaohong Airport. Qiaohong Airport was located in the northeast of Shanghai, 70 kilometers away from the city center. Although it was said to belong to Shanghai, it was the suburbs of the suburbs. Qiaohong Airport covered a large area. Looking down from the sky, it was almost the size of a county. It was also the 6th largest international airport in the world. It had 72 runways and more than 5,000 passenger flights every day. In the waiting hall of Qiaohong Airport, 27 people led by Nangong Meng had been waiting in the waiting room for half an hour. Mr. Zhang, since we're taking a chartered flight, there's no need to be so strict about the departure time, right? Didn't we take off immediately when people arrived in the past? Also, what did you just say about the flight route conflict? I just saw that there's only one flight route to the country of ice and snow, and there are no other flights. How could there be a conflict? I'm sorry, Dean Nangong. I didn't make it clear enough just now. Other than some conflicts with the flight route, we also found some problems during the self-inspection of the plane. Our technicians are doing emergency maintenance. I'm very sorry for wasting your precious time. Please forgive us. There's a problem with the plane? I remember that the application for the private plane was submitted last week, right? Yes, there was nothing wrong with the plane yesterday. It's just that there was a temporary alarm. Don't worry, it's not a big problem. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a temporary alarm. Please forgive us. In other words, not only can we not take off early, but we may also delay the flight. I'm sorry, we're deeply sorry for the inconvenience. Okay. Nangong Meng waved his hand impatiently. Hurry up. While Nangong Meng was lighting a cigarette and reading the newspaper in the waiting room of the private plane, 5 cars from the Heavenly Sword Bureau quietly entered Qiaohong Airport. Immediately isolate the passengers at the airport. Also, please be sure to transfer them to the backup airport without alerting them. Okay. Dean Nangong, the maintenance of the plane is done. Please come with us. Under the guidance of 2 stewardesses, Nangong Meng's group stood up and followed with their suitcases. As they walked, an old pedant suddenly frowned. That's not right. I don't remember the boarding passage going through here? Hello, sir. The passage we're going to is at the number 5 airport. Number 5? Isn't that the backup airport? Yes, that's just a common name. The airport was used as a private airport last Friday. After all, private planes are more flexible in taking off and landing, so it has an independent airport. When the group of people walked out of the passage, they saw 5 empty runways, and their private planes were nowhere to be seen. In front of them, Ming Yi, Wang Lan, and 2 independent action teams lined up in a row. The 100-man action team suddenly appeared and surrounded the 27 inspection teams. Everyone looked at the scene in front of them with a confused face. Only Nangong Meng stared at Wang Lan, and his face suddenly turned gloomy. Heavenly Sword Bureau, what do you mean by this? Dean Nangong, please forgive us. We suspect that there is a dangerous person wanted by the Jade State hiding in your inspection team, so we have to do this. Nonsense. All the members of the inspection team are highly respected scientists. We're about to go to the ice country for a field trip. You're talking nonsense. Who are you calling a fugitive? Me or the people behind me? Don't worry, Dean Nangong. We're just wasting your time. We just need to do a blood test. After all, Takashi Hoshi can disguise himself with a special ability, but he can't disguise his DNA yet. Soon, we'll have the results in 10 minutes. Everyone, line up and get your blood tested one by one. As he said that, the side door of the off-road vehicle beside him opened. 2 medical staff in white coats were already waiting in the car. Okay, I'll go first. Nangong Meng didn't think much and walked to the off-road vehicle first. Boom! Suddenly, a cloud of thick fog exploded. Before anyone could react, it had covered an area of 300 meters. Chapter 330. Gale. With a soft shout, the thick smoke was swept away by the gale and dissipated within seconds. Nangong Meng was held by the neck by a scholar in white and retreated dozens of meters away. Professor Li, what are you doing? Nangong Meng's face darkened as he shouted in a low voice. Professor Li? Ha ha. It seems that you're really confused. You don't even know who they're looking for. Professor Li sneered behind him as the skin on his face rotted quickly. He tore it gently and a gloomy face appeared in front of everyone. Duanmu Qingsang, you're not dead. You've already pushed the Duanmu family into a bottomless abyss. Why do you still want to kill them? I've already decided to leave Jade State and never come back. Why do you have to force me? If we don't kill you, how can we face the innocent people you've killed? If we don't, how can we face the families you've persecuted? Since you're a sinner of Jade State, don't even think about leaving Jade State alive. Now that Nangong Meng is in my hands, I'll take one of you down with me. As soon as he finished speaking, Duanmu Qingsang's astral power surged wildly. Wait, are you going to make more mistakes? Let go of Dean Nangong and I'll ask for a lighter sentence for you. Ha ha ha. What a joke. The Heavenly Sword Bureau thinks highly of me, Duanmu Qingsang, and you want the biggest executioner of Jade State to join hands with the Yu family to destroy my Duanmu family. Even if I'm given a lighter sentence, I can't escape death. If I don't die, will the Yu family be able to sleep at night? Since I'm going to die anyway, I might as well take one of you down with me and chat with you on the way to hell. You're hopeless. Tell me, what do you want? I just want to leave Jade State. That's why I'm asking Dean Nangong to escort me out of the country. As long as I arrive at Ice State safely, I won't force you to stay or go. In your dreams. Nangong Meng suddenly shouted, Wang Lan, don't worry about me. Shanghai Cebu Gakuen is capable of doing anything, except compromising. Shanghai Cebu Gakuen had been running its school for more than 200 years and had never compromised with anyone. Wang Lan, Ming Yi attacked. Rather than dying at the hands of these traitors, I'd rather die at your hands. Oh? Dean Nangong had quite the backbone, didn't he? Unfortunately, your astral power has been sealed by me, so it's not up to you to decide. Wang Lan frowned. He had no idea what to do in the current situation. There was no way Duanmu Qingtsang could leave Jade State. 30 years ago, Wang Mingling had escaped. How much damage had it caused to the Jade Nation? As the patriarch of the top Takashi Hoshi family in Jade State, Duanmu Qingtsang was more of a threat than Wang Mingling. Moreover, although the situation just now was dangerous, it was still far from the point where they couldn't react in time. After all, Dean Nangong was a titled battle pet warrior when he was young. Even if his realm had dropped and his reaction was slow because of his old age, he shouldn't have fallen to the point where he was weaker than a nebula, right? If Nangong Meng knew what Duanmu Qingtsang said, he would probably spit on him. You're a nebula? You're probably the only one in the world who thinks you're a nebula. Have you ever seen a nebula kill a star C-state warrior? Even you Royun wasn't that freakish. Ming Ye's face was also twisted. It was absolutely impossible for him to let Duanmu Qingtsang leave. But to watch Duanmu Qingtsang escape from the country without doing anything? That was even more impossible. At that moment, a soul bead suddenly slipped out of Nangong Meng's sleeve. The soul bead fell slowly like raindrops, as if the world had slowed down the flow of time for the soul bead. Boom! A purple flame arrow suddenly shot out of the soul bead and pierced Duanmu Qingtsang's chest in an instant. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Nangong Meng suddenly broke free from Duanmu Qingtsang's control and hit Duanmu Qingtsang's chest with a thunderball. Duanmu Qingtsang's chest collapsed in a visible manner. Boom! With a loud noise, Duanmu Qingtsang's body flew backward for dozens of meters. The Heavenly Sword Bureau took action immediately and rushed toward Duanmu Qingtsang. As for Wang Lan, she was one of the people who moved instantly. Mingyi hurried to Nangong Meng's side and asked with concern, "Dean Nangong, how are you?" I'm old. Nangong Meng sighed and shook his head silently. "I used to refuse to admit that I was old. Di Lao is already 100 years old, but he can still make progress. Why can't I? But now, I'm indeed old. Someone like him couldn't even get close to me in the past. But today, he managed to catch me. Alas. Dean Nangong, didn't you also kill him in a desperate situation?" It's all thanks to Wang Lan's soul pearl grenade. When Wang Lan saw the basketball-sized wound on Duanmu Qingtsang's chest, she sucked in a cold breath. He hurriedly activated his astral power and linked it with Duanmu Qingtsang. "Captain? He's already dead. Is it necessary?" Yang asked Wang Lan with a constipated expression. Wang Lan put his ear next to Duanmu Qingtsang's mouth. What did you say?" Hearing Wang Lan's words, Mingyi and Nangong Meng both stopped in their tracks. Mingyi looked incredulous. How could he not die after being injured like this? Even if good people didn't live long and scourges lived for thousands of years, it shouldn't be like this. As for Nangong Meng's expression, it was flickering. Wang Lan suddenly raised his head and looked at Nangong Meng in disbelief. His eyes were full of fear. Seeing this, Nangong Meng's face turned ghastly pale. "Dean Nangong, I've always thought that you were an upright, selfless, and respected senior. Although you were strict with us and often reprimanded us, we never complained about you. We even thought that you were the most respectable person in the entire academy, apart from the dean. Why did you do this?" "Wang Lan, what are you talking about?" Mingyi was asking questions, but he had unconsciously kept a distance from Nangong Meng. The astral power in his body was even surging, ready to explode at any moment. "You've never married, and you don't have any children. In the first half of your life, you risked your life for the country, and in the second half, you worked your heart out for the academy. What do you want, alas?" Looking at Wang Lan's pained eyes, Nangong Meng sighed softly. "This moment has finally come. I thought that at this moment, I would hate the person who ruined my reputation and exposed my true colors. But now, there's no anger or resentment in my heart. There's only regret. One slip and I'll regret it forever. When I look back, it's already been 100 years. If I hadn't known that ingrate, I think none of this would have happened. I think that when I die, I can be buried with the national flag as my cover. I can carve my name on a monument in the academy. Ha ha, ha ha. I've lived my life with a clear conscience. I've endured decades of hardships, but in my last 2 years, I fell into the hands of a despicable, shameless person. I hate it. While speaking, Nangong Meng's skin became redder and redder. It was exactly the same state that Wang Lan was in before the Scorpion King self-detonated in the 9-story pagoda. F***ck. Wang Lan and Ming Yi were alarmed almost at the same time. Everyone disperse. Disperse. Dean Nangong, calm down. Self-detonation is a coward's behavior. Since you're not even afraid of death, why do you have to die like a coward? Coward? I'm now. Wang Lan. I'm the one who sold the Academy's soul orbs. I'm also the one who bought a lot of space stones from the Duanmu family. I'm also the one who schemed to kill Yu Ruoyun. Why did you do that? Because of Duanmu Qingtsang. I fell into his trap and was dragged into his trap. He was angry that you killed his son and that the Yu family hit him when he was down. Therefore, he came up with this plan to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. He could avenge Duanmu Yi and stir up chaos in the Jade State. He could fish in troubled waters. Whether the royal family succeeds in seizing power or is suppressed, he would benefit from it. Is that so? Wait. Boom! All of a sudden, with a loud noise, Nangong Meng's body exploded. However, the expected explosion did not happen. Nangong Meng's body was only torn apart like a smashed watermelon. The radius of the explosion was less than 5 meters. After the dust settled, everyone's expressions became complicated. There was no joy, no relief, just disbelief, as if it was a dream. I didn't expect that the real mastermind would be Nangong Meng. But then again, Nangong Meng was a senior titled battle pet warrior and a senior member of the Academy. He had the power to do such a thing. 13 years ago, when the old principal retired, Nangong Meng should have been the one to take over his position. If Di Lao hadn't come over, I think Nangong Meng would have been very unhappy. Uncle Ming, I think something is wrong. Ming Yi looked at Wang Lan curiously. I think he's hiding something and protecting someone. For example, Miss Sun Li. She's in charge of the medical department. She's only in her 30s and has a bright future ahead of her. But she'd rather kill herself to protect the real mastermind. The mastermind must be someone of high status. Although Principal Nangong Meng is powerful, he's not powerful enough to make Miss Sun Li sacrifice herself to protect him. Therefore, I suspect that Nangong Meng isn't the real mastermind. Besides, he said that if he hadn't met that ingrate might not have been Duanmu Qingtsang. I'm not looking down on Duanmu Qingtsang, but he doesn't have such foresight. The Duanmu family is powerful, but it's just a good knife. Nangong Meng's last words were more like a forced end to this matter. As Wang Lan analyzed the situation, he didn't notice that Ming Ye's expression had become increasingly strange. Wang Lan, even if we suspect someone, we can't show it on our faces. We can raise our vigilance in secret and even investigate in secret, but we can't say that it's out of our mouths. Ming Ye's words made Wang Lan's expression change slightly. He looked up and met Ming Ye's eyes. Uncle Ming, do you already know who it is? I don't know. No one can say that they know. No one can say that they know until the irrefutable evidence is in front of them. I know you're not the kind of kid who throws caution to the wind. You know your priorities. I'm only going to say one person's identity, but you just have to remember that if you don't have conclusive evidence and are absolutely certain that you can take him down, you can't investigate him in private without permission, let alone out of our mouth. Who is it? Why are you so afraid of his identity? Martial God. Yu Zhangdong. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.